live?
We are live. Sorry. You can do some introductions if you want.
So, this is the Wileyverse. We usually play on Wednesday nights at 9:30 Arizona time. We do a Dungeons & Dragons 5e campaign with Dragonborn. Clansmen. Been on an epic adventure for a long time, but this is the summer now, so we've had some free time and we've been doing some one-offs, we've been doing some this and that. So this is something different we're trying. It was an idea that we had about introducing game systems. So tonight we're going to be doing Vampire the Masquerade. Wiley's going to give us some lore, he's going to help me make a character. We're going to start from scratch, and then we're going to do some combat, some interaction, that sort of stuff. And so welcome to the Wileyverse's 7th day in a row, pretty much.
Yeah, we did Saturday, we did Sunday, we did Monday.
Tuesday we'll be doing Wednesday.
Tuesday, and we'll be doing Wednesday. So, stick around. We're pumping out the content.
We're not sponsored by Heineken.
But we're available, and we're in need of more right now. If there anyone's out there that can go get us beer.
Was the one thing we didn't play about.
So this is Wiley vs. Mitch. Don't let the name fool you. I am going to probably kill him at the end. But this is my buddy Mitch, and he is very new to role-playing games. He bought the Rift's core rulebook.
I bought the Rift's core rulebook in 7th grade from a secondhand shop here called Bookman's. I was really excited about it. I read it cover to cover for years, but I'd never played it, never GM'd, I'd never really rolled any dice, I didn't understand the quick maths to it, that sort of thing. Wiley's brother and I were talking about artists we like, and he pulled up a picture from a guy by the name of Symbieta that I identified from that game book. Like, this is from that core rulebook, this is from that. And the rest was history. Now we've been playing for a couple of years now.
So he's really only played Savage Worlds Rifts, a quick game of Shadowrun, a Firefly game, and D&D. And as you can probably tell from the bookshelf behind me, I've played a lot of games. At least I've bought a lot of games. We call
it the Wizard's Library. You can't see the rest of it. It goes on for another couple of shelves.
I get him, Wiley. I'll get him. Meowsers. So.
Oh, that's
nice. Yeah, I'm totally gonna get him. So this session is going to be dedicated to Vampire the Masquerade, and this is the new edition of Vampire the Masquerade that just came out last year, I believe, 5th edition. I've been playing since the original. This is my original book. Its binding is broken and everything. I have almost all the clan books and all of the supplements. I have Hunter the Reckoning. I have Mage the Ascension. I followed White Wolf for the longest time. And I even went into... I don't know.
Oh, I don't know what you said. Anyway, go ahead.
We might be able to. I can try.
You can certainly try.
If nothing else, we need to message like Kaylin when you got out of the movie, bring us beer.
Gotcha.
Not IPA. So I ran Vampire the Masquerade while I was in high school, because that's what you do when you're an emo kid. Let's see. Vampire the Masquerade changed the way I GM'd. It made me kind of the GM I am today, where combats are fluid, but interactions are much more important, and dialogue and things like that. It taught me some things about GMing, and the fact that it's not all about a big bad evil guy that can take on the entire party. Sometimes it's just about drama, and you walk away from the soap opera talking about, can you believe what the prince of the city did tonight, and blah blah blah, and this and that. So I really didn't like it that much. Like, I didn't like Vampire the Masquerade when I first read it, because you're playing bad guys. You're playing vampires that feed on humans. And most of the people that I gamed with, or in the community that I knew that played it as they were just undead superheroes. That's kind of what they were. They could do whatever they want. They had carte blanche on morality and all these superpowers. But that's not what the game is about. The game is about coming to grips with losing your mortality and what immortality does to you, especially when you have to feed on people to sustain yourself.
So what would be like a normal campaign for a vampire in this sort of game?
So a game of vampire is generally set in a city, and that city has a ton of politics. So everyone is trying to screw everyone else over to gain more power. And then there are rivals to that power structure from the outside that you also have to face down and fight. Hey there!
Tabletop to Keyboard, thank you again for showing up, for the follows and stuff. We always appreciate seeing you here.
So, the greatest analogy I can put to it is, imagine you start at a big company, right? Some huge financial institution, and you start in the mailroom, right? And this is old style. Yeah, I have too. I was just showing. This is my original book. It is, the spine is broken, the pages are yellow, and there's so much food and drink. Everything is coming off on it.
It looks genuinely used.
Yeah.
He had to find it. It was buried in the library here somewhere.
But I have everything. I have everything White Wolf did in their first years. I have all the books. They're scattered throughout here. I need to organize my library. So the campaign is like, imagine you get put in the mailroom of this company, and you get, you're going to work your way up, right? Someday you could be a CEO. Well, no, I'm just giving you the analogy.
Oh, okay.
But, what's supposed to happen is you go in the bottom floor, and then people retire or they get promoted ahead of you, whatever, and then you take their positions. But in this company, no one ever leaves. Ever. The CEO is going to be there forever. All the managers are going to be there forever. So you're going to be in the mailroom forever. But there's no other company. You can't go to another company.
Yeah.
There is only one company, and everyone stays there forever because they never die. They never retire. They never leave. So what the hell do you do? Right?
Go into politics?
Yeah. Well, and then it's all about backstabbing, getting people discredited. Mm-hmm. The only way you can oust someone from their position to possibly move up is if you get people to turn against that person. So it is dramarific. Like, it is a dramarific game. So I'll explain a little bit of the timeline as of right now, because it's new. There's a new version. Ooh. And what's going on. The company I am talking about is called the Camarilla. The Camarilla is the structure of vampires. It goes back to biblical times. It's been there forever. Oh, you've picked the right night to join us, Rin.
Yeah, right. This is the right time.
So, the Camarilla has been around, and it really got established and got going during Roman times and became the thing. Like, the expansion of Rome to conquer everything was at the behest of vampires. They were the ones behind all this so that they can get more resources and conquer more land and spread out more. I am not fully up on the new edition rules either. I spent all day reading it. Thanks for the follow, Renee. That's great. So, yes, this is going back to the original. They are K-Knights now, but I'm not gonna tell that to him yet. I'm gonna drop that on him later on.
He just told me that right now, but whatever.
But you don't know why he's saying it goes back to Cain and Abel. So, the Camarilla is a structured hierarchy, and every city has a prince. That prince is always the eldest vampire, and they rule everything. They make all the decisions. They make all the rules. And the Masquerade is about... the Masquerade and the Camarilla have traditions. I kind of messed up. So, the Camarilla has 6 traditions, and it's what rule vampiric society. The first tradition is Masquerade: never reveal yourselves to mortals. The second tradition is domain. You always have to honor someone's territory, and someone owns everything. It's very feudal.
That one's called what? Sorry.
Domain. So in someone else's home, you cannot attack them. There's places called Elysium, which are safe houses for everyone. Mm-hmm. If you are allowed into Elysium, then no one can fight each other. No one can attack each other. It's like John Wick, no business on continental grounds. The third tradition is progeny. In theory, do not make more vampires unless you are given permission. Don't go out and just sire more vampires. The fourth tradition is accounting. This goes in hand with progeny. If you have a child, childe, child, you're the sire, they're your child, and you make a vampire, they are your responsibility forever. And anything they do can reflect badly on you. So I'll just read what it says there. Those thou create are thine own children, until thy progeny shall be released. Thou shalt command them in all things. The sins of their sins are thine to endure. And the lineage is a big deal. The fifth tradition is hospitality. You should always introduce yourself if you go to a new city. You should introduce yourself to Prince, make yourself known. And if a vampire comes to you, into your domain, you should welcome them in and hear what they have to say, type of thing. And when, in their domain, be nice. Be nice. And the sixth tradition is destruction. Do not destroy vampires. Do not kill them. There's a thing called diablerie. Killing a vampire is the most taboo thing ever.
So that was going to be my question about the whole, if everyone works in the same business and no one's ever going to go anywhere, why don't we just kill each other?
And that's it. That's what happened. Gotcha. So they had to stop that.
Makes sense.
Don't kill your fathers. Don't kill your elders. Don't go after each other.
What about rivals?
So there's a thing, this whole game.
I'm getting ahead, sorry.
Yeah, the whole game that people are playing is called the Jihad, and it's been going on forever, and it's the politics. It's all the politics. Discrediting, moving, shaking, taking territories from people, taking resources and influence, because that's really all you can do. But things can happen where you break these laws, and if you break these laws, they can ask for your destruction. Gotcha. And then they call a blood hunt, and you're pretty much, it's very much John Wicky, like John Wick. Hey, you're excommunicatus. Anyone can kill you now. And there's this thing called diablerie, where if you destroy another vampire by feeding on them, you can gain their strength.
Gotcha.
So there's all these rules, but everyone is trying to break it.
7 traditions?
6.
6, okay.
6 traditions. Yeah, that's 6 traditions. So
there can be only 1 dozen of us.
The Camarilla has had some problems as of late. For one thing, the internet made hiding really hard, especially with younger generations being more and more disillusioned. They just went out and partied hard, got accidentally pictured, put on the internet, or pictured themselves, like taking pictures of themselves, going on to chat rooms to find people to seduce and feed off of. So word got out. Some people start getting pretty savvy about the fact that vampires exist. And then all these government agencies, along with the Vatican, said, okay, let's do something about this. And they started to attack the Camarilla. They started to figure out where their domains were, where their big convocations, their big gatherings were, and attack them. And they did all of this under the guise of the War on Terror. Declaring the War on Terror and the Patriot Act in our country and in America allowed them to go after anyone they wanted and put people on lists to get watched and not tell the public why.
So this is kind of some modern stuff rolled in.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting.
So, besides real, terrorism fighting, there's groups of these agents, and at the highest level, they know that there's these supernatural beings out there. And of course, they are trying to wrap their heads around it with science and all that stuff. But they tell their troops, hey, you got to go take this guy in. He's going to be jacked up on some combat chemicals and things like that. This is how you take him out. We need him alive. And they send him after you. And the Camarilla lost some of their major fortresses, their major citadels, like their seats of power. They lost, I can't remember, they lost Chicago. Chicago got attacked. Their Elysium,
entire city
their Elysium
Gotcha.
got taken out, and there was a huge convention in somewhere in Europe, and it got taken out as well. So now there's a schism. Now there's a Camarilla trying to hold on, and they've withdrawn back. The elders being completely the people that can't move forward with technology. There's a cool word for it, and now I can't remember, but they use it a lot in Vampire.
Old guy.
Yeah, but get off my lawn. They've pretty much forbidden modern technology in the Camarilla. Like, no more internet. Hey kids, don't get to be on the internet anymore. You're giving our positions away.
Well, how do they feel about that, though? Wouldn't they be super against that?
Oh yeah, the young people hate it. So a whole bunch of people, and they're losing their grip on their societies, on their domains. So now there's another contingent. In most cities, you'll have the Camarilla structure, but now there's other vampires there that aren't a part of it, and they're called anarchs. And the anarchs are the futurists, the modernists. They're normally the younger generation vampires, and they're trying to live life now and make a new way to rule and how to hide themselves and how to protect themselves. So you have the Camarilla and the anarchs, and then there's a couple other. There's the Sabbat was kind of destroyed. Now they're just kind of out mingling. The Sabbat used to be the big baddie to the Camarilla. They were the people that wanted to, hey, we should be ruling humanity. They are our cattle. They used to just be that. They used to kind of be well organized and kind of group, but they got hit really hard. And most of them were in Asia and the Middle East, where they got just almost completely wiped out when the War of Terror got initiated, and they were the most easy to find because they didn't care about the Masquerade. They didn't have that tradition. So, anachronism. That's it. Anachronistic people.
Anarchronism. Anarchist,
No. Anachronism. Yeah, it's...
Oh, there you go. Being from another date and time. That's perfect. Good job.
Okay, so how we're gonna do this? That's like the dip your feet in. So there's a couple ways to go about character creation, and I like all of them. I love the make a human get embraced, but that would be difficult because I don't have a campaign ready. I'm gonna build whatever game session we do tonight off of what you make. So we're going to go through the splats. And a splat, for anyone that doesn't know role-playing nomenclature, a splat is the divisions of what you can play in a game. So if you're playing D&D, a splat is warrior, warlock, hunter, or ranger, rogue. In this game, it's a clan. And clans are cults of personality that their bloodlines have certain stereotypical abilities. So...
I'm assuming we're going to hear about gang members pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. And so they are a group of people that think alike and live a stereotype almost, that go after, when they have to sire and they want to create another vampire, they go after people like them because that's what they like. And those people get the same abilities. And you'll see themes of all different vampire genres and movies and fiction throughout these. And you'll be able to play... From now on, you will never watch a vampire movie and not clan the people. Yeah. You'll be like, oh, that's a gangrel. Oh, that's a Toreador.
Gotcha.
So, the clans. The first... And I am not kidding. Like, he's totally right. That's going to happen for the rest of your life. The first is Bruja. So Bruja are the punks, the anti-establishment, the rabble. They even have, they did a really good job in this new book of showing you this. these are the revolutionists. These are the people that rage against the machine. Right? Here's some artwork of what various.
Can we show it?
Could show. It has all each clan now has a selection of 8 pictures just to give you an example of the flavor. So Bruja are they have their roots all the way back into the ancient times. Anyone who fights against the system and all that. But if you want to really just stereotype it, it's British punk, mentality, thought, bring it all down, tear it all up. I'm going to go through their disciplines so you can get a flavor of what you would be doing as this. And disciplines are the magic abilities, the abilities of clans.
Gotcha.
So they are the probably most physical and combative. They have celerity, potence, and presence. So celerity makes them fast. Celerity is when you see a vampire streak across the room like they were a blur, or when they're perching on top of something impossible to balance on. That's celerity. Potence is strength. It's just that pure vampire strength to throw people through walls and things like that. And presence is inducing awe and getting attention. It's that person walks in the room and everyone has to look at them. There is another ability we're going to talk about later, but presence is getting attention. So remember it that way. It's about getting attention and having eyes focus on you. Because there's another ability that does something else. Gangrel.
Uh-oh.
So Gangrel are the clan of the beast, animals, feral savages. They are the Darwinists of this age. The might makes right. They're the lone wolves. They're the naturists. They would much rather feel at home, driving cross country on their chopper. Yeah, Protean is pretty cool. So they are, if you look at them, you see a lot of nature going on, but also a lot of that.
They're like
that
Native
lone,
American goths.
Native American goths, the campers, the survivalists. Again, these are the Bruja, the biker gang bikers. These are the lone biker that you see driving out, and he's going to go cross country with just his gun and himself, and he doesn't know where he's going to get his next meal. That kind of guy is Gangrel. So their abilities are animalism. They can command animals, call and command. Fortitude, which is that you just can't put them down. They are tough as nails. And Protean. And Protean is those vampires that you can see get bestial traits all the way up to and including shapeshifting. The change into the wolf, change into the bat. But when you see a vampire that can glow their eyes red so they can see at night, or they have claws, that's Protean.
Interesting. How old is this game while we're doing this?
I was going to look that up, and I completely forgot.
I'm just curious. Hey, Heineken sponsorship coming soon.
Yeah, we're trying. Hey, we need some Heinekens. Can you pick us up some? These are our last 2.
Bring us some
Heinekens,
2 gin bottles. We know you're in the area.
We'll pay you.
You can stick your hand on the camera, Kalen style. That'd be good.
I don't know what's going on with the music. It's not connecting.
It's okay.
My internet's having some issues.
We seem to be doing okay. Still 60 frames, 0% drop.
Probably we're doing so well there.
We're looking that up right now.
Yeah.
TT2KB.
1991.
Oh, I would have thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, he can tell us. What was your guess? Yeah, there you go.
So that's. I was a freshman in high school. I'm pretty sure that's when I started playing. All right, Malkavians. I have a great example of a Malkavian, but Clan of the Moon, the lunatics, the madmen, the jesters, the oracles, eccentricity, insanity. They go after those people that are nuts, but see something more.
So do they go after people that are nuts?
And anyone they take, they
kind
don't
of maddens.
Kind of maddens. It's in their blood. So even if they were to take a brilliant writer or whatever, that person would become a conspiracy theorist or disjointed or whatever. But they're attracted to other crazies as well. Think about 12 Monkeys, Brad Pitt's character. Be a perfect candidate for.
Like he can make a biochemical war.
Yeah, and
wipes
he
out
was
the
insane.
earth, but he's also nuts.
But he's like, oh, we're doing this for the greater good, and there's
Yeah.
something better. There's this guy that came through, and he was from another time. Like, oh, okay. There's a page in the Malkavian clan book from the original. There's 2 pages, and it's written entirely backwards. So you either read it, like you force yourself to read it backwards, or you have to bring a mirror, and their symbol is a cracked mirror. So you have to bring a mirror and read it through the mirror.
It's obnoxious in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, that's a neat way to do it.
So crazy. There.
No, so these are like, what's his name?
Yes, say it.
Painted all the soup
Campbell
cans.
soup cans.
Yes.
I have an example about that I'm going to bring up later on.
Okay, cool.
But that's why did that hit me? Come on, chat, help us out. Guy that painted the Campbell soup cans. And I don't know why I just lost that because I just saw a picture of him.
Soup can artist. Jesus Christ. Andy Warhol.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Andy Warhol would
No one can remember Andy
Warhol would have been taken by Malkavian, and there's another thing I would like that'll come up relevant in a minute. All right, so their disciplines are Auspex. Auspex gives you enhanced senses, so the ability to hear faint footsteps a mile away and see in the dark and all that kind of crazy stuff, and even hear voices from other start to get into people's minds. Or hear people's minds. Dominate. So dominate is the other side of presence. Dominate forces someone to do what you want. It's the hypnotism. It's the how Dracula gets like the women to come with him type thing. So presence makes you liked. Dominate, command someone. And the last one is obfuscate.
Ooh, obfuscate.
Obfuscation is hiding. It's the ability to disappear. It's to turn into shadow, all those abilities. Nosferatu. Yeah. So they take their name from the classic Nosferatu, and it's pretty obvious what their problem is. They are hideous. No matter what the person was before, they become hideous. One interesting thing about them is that they feel they wear their curse on their outside.
Mm-hmm.
So they are the most humane of all the vampires. They feel like I look like a monster, so like everyone else, like you're pretending not to be monsters, even though you're monsters on the inside. I'm a monster on the outside, so I'm gonna try to help people. If you want to go back to John Wick kind of thing, you watch John Wick 2?
Yeah.
The Bowery King would be a Nosferatu. They normally keep people around them. They normally protect the weak. They definitely live in the derelicts and the dregs of society, but they also hear all and see all because everyone wants to ignore them because no one wants to look at anything ugly in society type thing. They generally go after ugly people, but they will teach people a lesson in humility and go after good-looking people and make them...
Yeah. So you were saying earlier that when these clans take specific people, those vampires take on traits from the clan based on their shared blood.
Yep, the bloodline.
Gotcha.
Their disciplines are animalism, which commanding animals, obfuscate, and potence. So hiding, strength, and talking to animals. Toreador.
Sorry, it was animalism, obfuscate, and
potence.
That's right.
Toreador are these super artsy, pretty, beautiful vampires. They're most likely the stereotypical, between these and one other clan, they're like the stereotypical ones you think of. So Toreador are divas, Clan of the Rose, degenerates, arties, harlots, hedonists. They are sensates. I love that word. They are the pretty folk. They are normally artists or models, singers, songwriters. They normally are creatives. So where Andy Warhol would be taken by Malkavian, a fashion designer like
Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yeah, Jean-Paul Gaultier would be taken by Toreador. Their disciplines are Auspex, so their senses are heightened. Celerity, they're very fast and graceful. And Presence, likable. Tremere, probably the most interesting one. So the Tremere were a coven of sorcerers back in the medieval ages who found out about the existence of vampires and wanted in. They're like, we want that. We want all that power, but we're not going to play your game, right? We're not going to let you bite us and then we lose all our magic, because that's what happens. They tried it. So they found the oldest vampire they could and performed a ritual on it to transfer its power to theirs. So they became vampires through sorcery. That allowed them to keep sorcery in their blood and not lose it because they lost their touch with humanity. They are also kind of usurpers, like they're, first thing, warlocks, hermetics, thaumaturges, transgressors, but other vampires really, they are cheaty bastards. The other vampires are really whoa, you just killed and took our power for yourselves, but they played nice and embedded themselves into the Camarilla and became probably one of the most influential clans in it, and influenced a lot of how the Camarilla does its business, made it a tradition, made it a organization. So they became very potent.
Now that we've gone through a couple of these, the Camarilla is kind of all of vampire society rolled into one. Okay, cool.
And it's everywhere. It's across the entire world.
Gotcha. That's what I thought that's what it was.
So,
people from the Matrix.
Yep. Gypsies, witches, all that stuff. So disciplines, Auspex, blood sorcery. They get magic, literally magic, with their blood, and dominate. Tabletop keyboard. You may not know this. So the original flaw. Each of these clans also has a flaw, which I'm not talking about. It'll become obvious, when you.
Sorry, it was Auspex, blood sorcery, and
dominate.
Dominate. Okay.
So they're very influency, mind-fucky.
Real quick.
So...
Or attention.
Topping us back. But they've changed, because their clan got hit hard. Their prime chantry got destroyed. And now they're broken again. They're really broken now. Not thaumaturgy anymore. Yeah, it was. Now it's just blood sorcery, and it's a single. They've redone how they do disciplines. It doesn't just give you a power or ramp up abilities. You actually have to select powers. So every time you get a dot, you pick a power from a list, and you get that ability. Very interesting. I haven't touched too much into it yet. And I gotta talk to you about this, just so you know about these folk. How's the chat coming up on screen? Because I did something weird with the chat box, and I think it might have broken it. Is it cutting off, or is it? Yeah, it's cutting off. Boo. Oh.
Sorry, I should have done that before we get started. I apologize.
It's alright.
Not much of Wiley versus Mitch if Mitch is in here.
I'll let it come over the screen. That's fine. Is that better? All right.
We could also scoot this way an inch or two.
No, it's not really that. But, all right. It was... I had to do something weird for a minute. It's okay if it comes in on a little bit. All right.
Oh, I see. That's not bad.
Yeah. So... So the Tremere had this thing where they're an order, right? So when they brought someone in, and they only go after people that are occultists and people like that, when they brought someone in, you got initiated in the order. And there's this thing called the blood bond. So if a vampire makes another vampire drink their blood, they start losing resistance and becoming enamored with that vampire. It's pretty much like a way for people to control others. And it's definitely a thing in society to barter that. Hey, I'll do this favor for you, but you have to blood bond to me.
So that's artificial abuse.
Yep. So, and there's 3 levels.
So that'd be one of the things where I'm saying, like, I give you some of my blood, now you more or less do what I say.
And there's 3 levels. So if it's only once, and it normally lasts for a year before it fades away. If it's only once, then you like that person, and they get a little bit of a disadvantage if you use powers on them, but they like you. They're more malleable to what your ideas.
Gotcha.
2 is infatuation, and 3 is
obsession.
It's you just do what that person says. You're in complete control of that person.
Gotcha.
So as a clan, when you got brought into the Tremere, you were ritually bloodbound to the council. So they would, like, it's a big deal. Like, even if you were on... Oh, yeah, it does work on... See, it keeps coming in and out. It works on humans, too, and much faster and lasts much longer. And you can all... We'll talk about ghouls later. We haven't got into that. But, so, once you're brought in, you're not... To make a vampire, you have to drain a person dry of their blood and then give them yours. The Tremere don't use their personal blood. They get it from the council over in Vienna.
Do they carry it with them then?
No, they have to get permission, because you have to get permission,
that's
right?
For the
so you
yeah.
feed, and then you feed them that, and they become a vampire, and they're a vampire of the Tremere, not just your bloodline, and they're automatically bloodbound to the council. But their main chantry, the chantry in, I believe it's Vienna, got destroyed by the Inquisition. And when they destroyed that where they made that ritual blood, and where they were holding all the seat of power and the council got scattered, their blood lost all its potency.
So that was
for that.
I have 2 questions about that. So one, I think you just answered. So if the bloodbound vampire is killed, you lose obsession with that person. You feel it. You're like, oh
yeah, that's like cool. They're gone.
So then the other one, I guess, would be you said that it happens for like a year or so.
Year and a day. You have to get another re-up.
Okay, so even if it's a new vampire, like the blood that I gave you to bring you back to life and make you a vampire doesn't have a permanent effect.
Yeah, is 1 step. Okay. And if you want to keep them in check, you keep feeding them.
So do they do that?
So now,
feed?
Oh, they do. They used to. Now their flaw is their blood does not work to blood bond vampires anymore. They cannot blood bond vampires. They cannot be blood. They can be bloodbound to other vampires of other clans, but Tremere's blood doesn't blood bond anymore. Only works on humans, because they lost that ability when they lost their chantry.
Ooh.
So, mainly I was kind of saying that for him, because he understands. Tabletop to keyboard understands what that means.
Unlearning.
But Ventru. Ventru is the other classic stereotype vampire. They are the business folk. They are the prestigious, the nobility, the royalty, the wealthy. They're the 1%. So now they do a lot of corporate stuff, but back in the day, they were the kings and queens and duchess and
Dr. Grant Bowman, number 2 or 3.
Their disciplines are dominate, fortitude, and presence. And look at this fucking creepy picture. This is a Ventru and her thrall.
It's
weirdo.
It's like Julia Childs holding a gimp.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go through 2 more, but I'm going to say right now that we shouldn't play these.
Okay.
So
I will leave them on my list.
the Caitiff are clanless. For whatever reason, the blood didn't transfer to them with the clan properties. So they have no clan.
So these guys aren't made from a clanless group. The clans took them and they didn't...
That's how it started.
Gotcha.
And then that...
Oh, so the kids are still a clan now. So
kind of, but they don't have anything running through their veins that makes them unique.
So what would happen if I'm a Caitiff and I make a vampire? It's
going to be a Caitiff as well.
Caitiff
But there's something else to that, and it's coming in the next splat. The Thin-Blooded. So, there was a first vampire. Okay? That first vampire made other vampires. That first vampire made the first generation. And then those 3, I believe it was, made the second generation of vampires. And those 7 made more vampires. And that was the 3rd generation. And then the 4th generation, the 5th generation. So how close you are to that first vampire is how potent your blood is. Not just... And also, antediluvians were the first ones. It's antediluvians, and then... the Methuselahs are up there, too.
Tremere is the best limb scheme your life can buy.
Did you hear... I don't know if you were here... Methuselahs, yeah. I didn't know if you were here, Robert, to hear, but they lost their ability to bloodbound. They lost their main chantry and their blood production, and their magic was broken. Tremere blood can no longer bind anyone, so they're not bloodbound to the council. They can't bloodbind to other vampires, but they can still be bound to other clans. So yeah, they got fucked when the new Inquisition started. So the Thin-Blooded are... So they found out that about 13th generation is when the potency of the blood is getting a little bit too thin.
So does that mean that vampires... Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting. I was curious. So does that mean that once you get to 12, they shouldn't really be allowed to make vampires? It should be back up to the 10s and the 9s.
Yeah, hey, you, 9, go get someone.
Like, we need this.
But, yeah,
we need this person, but we need someone like a higher level to make
13th are specifically told, you can't sire ever. Don't ever do it. Most of the time, the people die. Only rarely will you make a Thin-Blooded. And that's 14th, 15th, and even 16th generation can possibly do it. But there's a wake of dead bodies of these people trying to make vampires. Only one in 10, one in 20, one in 30 or 50 can stand back up. Their blood can't do what anyone else's does. They can't use disciplines half the time. They can go out in sunlight sometimes. Like, it doesn't hurt them and things like that. They are so weak.
So these are burn to death in the sunlight kind of vampires.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay.
So Thin-Blooded is the last one. So not only do you have age, which the more you age, your blood also gets more potent. So it is possible for you, like if you were 13th generation, if you were around for 200, 300, 400 years...
do they sparkle?
No.
Oh.
If you're around for 200, 300 years, your blood potency will rise just because of your age, despite your generation. So there is a path to power, but takes forever. Through years.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the splats.
All right.
So is there one that's standing out to you? Is there one you think you like?
Well, I always kind of like underdogs a little bit. I think that the Malkavians sound fun because they're a little crazy, a little wild. I also really like Nosferatu just because I'm an old school vampire fan. I really liked Nosferatu and I liked the idea of them being monsters a little bit. But for the purposes of a one-off, I think it would be easy for me to do the Bruja. Fast, strong, beautiful. Not beautiful, but like presence.
Yeah, commanding.
So let's do it. Let's do a Bruja.
Okay. Here we go.
Ooh.
This is your standardized test. You see all the dots?
I have to fill it in with a number 2 pencil.
You do. Also, get your paper ready, because there's two things during character creation that happens. One is you're going to be making a relationship map.
Ooh.
So, Vampire is all about relationship. It's all about... Brouhaha! Brouhaha!
Brouhaha!
Got you all in check.
Right.
So, for the purposes of this, normally you make a vampire that's... You can make vampires that are a couple hundred years old and you're in it, but since you're so new to this, I'm going to make you a fairly newly crafted vampire. So we're going to worry more about your human side and what you left behind than we are going to be like how long you've been around and what your domains are and like that kind of thing.
And are we going to do the leveling thing? Are we going to make a higher level character later in the stream?
We can, like, the experience system in this is super easy.
Okay.
Like, there's not a lot going on. I can just dump points into you, and I say it's been 20 years,
Gotcha.
and you've done this, and we might do that. And it depends on how long we do this, and if we can get someone to get us beer. Robert, bring us beer.
Robert, bring us beer. We messed up.
Oh.
I'll send the boy.
Send the boy. Bring the boy. Bandolier. All right.
So X gonna give it to you? Is that what we're supposed to play?
Brouhaha.
Lord and Savior Ace, thanks for coming by.
Hey, what's going on?
So
we are...
sorry, my turn. Yeah, so hey. Mitch wins this round. We've been streaming a little bit more because it's summer for me. I've got some free time, and we're doing some late PM stuff. Tonight we are actually playing a little thing that we had come up with where we're introducing a system. Tonight is obviously Vampire the Masquerade. So he gave us a little bit of the lore. I'm about to build a character right now, and then we're going to kind of get a sense of some combat and see how it works. The whole time we'll be learning about the actual gameplay mechanics itself. So we just did a quick little thing about learning about vampire clans, and now I'm getting ready to make my first vampire character sheet. And then from there we will be playing a quick vampire game and see what goes on. See how vampire is played.
So under clan you can write Brouhaha.
Have you been here before, Lord and Savior? Yeah, you have. Lord and Savior Ace has been here before, right?
It sounds familiar. You've been here, right? If you haven't, you should click us a follow.
We play some regular stuff. We play on Wednesdays normally. Yeah, that's what I thought so. Yeah. So you've seen the Dragonborn campaign on Wednesdays and things like that. Well, this year we've had some one-offs. Wiley is working on some his own personal stuff, so we've kind of been play testing some D&D guys against that. I did a one-off where I did it where I DM'd. Galen might be DMing one. Robert did one. So we've kind of had a rotating group of people, and we're trying to have a good time. So stick around. All right.
Core concept. What were you in life? What are you? Like,
Ooh.
Are you a bouncer? Are you a bartender? Are you a...
I don't think if I was fast like that. Let's go.
Now remember, you're not fast. Yeah. That's when you become a vampire.
Oh, okay.
What are you in life?
Oh.
What were you in life?
Oh, let's go bartender.
Makes sense. All right, so bartender, and we can like fill out things in life. Like, it could be anything. Did you have military service?
Well, let's say for the fun of the stream that it's me. So I was a bartender. I have a minor bit of education in education. I was a teacher a little bit. Drinker, joker, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right. So we're making Mitch the vampire.
I'm gonna be a vampire.
So core concept is out of the way. Clan and sire. So your clan is Brouhaha.
Yeah, got that.
Your sire. Do you want to name him? You want me to name him?
Go ahead and name him. Let's learn some Brouhaha names.
So who would go after a teacher, bartender, jokester?
Somebody that needed access to like a really good Cosmo. Yeah, what would so while we're doing this, let's ask that then. concept-wise, is that something that we should consider if we made a campaign in this sort of game? What would be the purpose of making real-life Mitch a vampire?
Right.
That's something they would need to consider, right?
Yeah. Why would someone want you or a person like you as a vampire?
It sounds so harsh when you say it like that.
No, but there's actually a very...
Well, I mean, because there's limited resources, there's limited space, and I'm not going to be moving up anywhere. What would be the purpose of having an elementary school teacher with restaurant experience? Unless you need me to work in your restaurant.
So, actually, that is where I was kind of going with that. But we should also state, what city are we in?
Let's go east.
So, East Coast somewhere, Boston, New York.
Let's do Boston, because we can all affect the accent.
Boston accent, because the Bruins are in the playoffs right now.
Is that a baseball team?
Yeah. Okay, so that makes it a little bit easier. So...
okay, tabletop, that's an interesting one. So now as we play, I should think about myself going down the downward spiral.
Oh, and it's going to be bad.
Yeah, great.
It's about to get bad. It's going to get bad real quick.
It is called Wiley versus Mitch.
And Vampire is not a happy, fun game. So I should also say, and I didn't preface this to you, is this is set in a place called the World of Darkness. And the World of Darkness is our world, right now, modern day. But if everything everyone thought happened. So, like, when you hear, like, oh my god, I can't let my kid go outside, he's going to get abducted. Like, that, it's never been a safer time in the history of America for children. The abduction rates are the lowest ever.
All we ever hear is the bad news. So
but all we ever hear is the bad news.
Yeah,
but in the World of Darkness, it really is that high. Your kid is absolutely going to disappear, and it's probably going to be a vampire or a werewolf or something that gets that kid.
Yeah.
If not something worse, a real human predator. It's a terrible, terrible world. Everything is dark. Everything is gloomy. Don't walk alone at night. You know, that kind of stuff.
This has been my experience with 40K as well. Where like,
it's not that dark.
So I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the stream. Wiley has said that I'm new to this. I've always wanted to play role-playing games since the last, it's been 2 years now almost. For the last 2 years, it's we've been kind of playing Dungeons and Dragons and playing Rifts and Shadowrun and doing some stuff like that. We had a short-run 40K game, and every single session I think I ended it with, wow, this universe is terrible. Like, everything sucks. What's that? It's a monster. Oh, what's it wearing? Oh, it's wearing power armor. Yeah? What kind of monster is it? Oh, undead. Your dad, probably. Like, oh, shit. Like, here we go. I actually had a character die from a plague marine, and he made me roll against the rest of the group because I was a zombie. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So your sire is Aurora O'Tierney.
Aurora?
Yep. Did you take my pencil? No, that's your double.
O'Tierney?
O'Tierney. Otierny.
Tierny.
Yeah. And she took you exactly for the reason you just said. She was staking a claim in the territory of the bar that the area that your bar is in, and she wanted to use that as a hub. She looked through all the people that worked there and decided who she wanted to turn and be the person that runs that spot. And
now I can tell the same joke for eternity.
There you are. She came over from Ireland. She's kind of Irish mafia connections. She's not Irish mafia. She controls Irish mafia through her connections and things like that.
Ooh, that's interesting. So she's not affiliated with the mafia, but she has
that's mortal
connections
shit.
in it.
Yeah, that's mortal.
She can manipulate it, though.
Yeah, she can. If she needs to get things moving, she moves it herself. She makes the calls and does that. But no one, no criminal, walks up to her and thinks she's a boss. She's controlling the boss.
Gotcha.
But it's also very, very brouhaha, like that little worm your way in, get your lifestyle out there, take care of the folks down below, anti-establishment, give it to the man. All right. So now we got your sire and we got your clan, your attributes. So your attributes are going to go like this. Your attributes are 1 to 5. They don't have the first dot written in yet, but you will have a 1 in everything.
Okay.
Don't worry about it now because you're going to fill them in as we go. 1 is complete weakling or the worst you could be at that thing.
So weak, ugly, dumb.
3 is where you normally get human kind of peak. Like that's the normal, like a human that has a job and does something else. Like a smart human that works in IT is going to have an intelligence of 3. A human that, works as a bouncer but also works out a lot, he's going to have like a strength of a 3.
Gotcha.
Right? That's human. Then you go to 4, and that's exceptional. That's someone like, I am a professional bodybuilder. That's all I do is bodybuild. I have a strength of 4.
So then 5 is vampire strength.
5 is still on the human side. Like humans can attain it, but you're thinking Olympian at that point. That is someone that is in the top percentage of all humanity, of strength, say, or the smartest person in the world has an intelligence of 5. You're not going to have any of that starting. So, actually, you're going to pick one of your attributes as a 4.
Okay.
So understand that you're brouhaha, so you're going to have the potency, you're going to have the speed, but you're also presence, and you were taken as a person that works at a bar and instructs kids,
specifically charismatic,
and like you're there because you're supposed to like keep this bar in check and keep people coming there because it is a feeding ground for Aurora's group.
Manipulation is
very singular. Like it's to manipulate one person. You can manipulate a crowd with it, but yeah.
So charisma would be more like...
Charisma is just the likability, total, all around likability.
Gotcha.
So
let's go with that then.
All right, 4 in charisma.
I'm sure other people watching the stream would disagree with that.
Now
like
you
Vampire
get
Mitch is charismatic. Get out of here.
you get 3 attributes at 3, and this is where I'd say put in manipulation. Also put in intelligence. As you were a school teacher, you have a lot of knowledge, right?
3 of these.
And then you have 1 more.
Let's go with.
Wits is witty, like wittiness, like that's
let's
that.
do that then, because it's definitely not strength or dexterity.
Yeah.
Human Mitch isn't very fast.
So you now have 4 attributes at 2. So all but 1 essentially.
So what is my? So I have these for you guys who can't see or don't know anything. So we have these 3 sections of
physical,
attributes:
social, mental.
social, mental, strength, dexterity, stamina, charisma, manipulation, composure, intelligence, wits, and resolve. I'm not super sure what resolve is.
Resolve is willpower. Well, sort of. There's a willpower thing down here as well, but resolve is how... If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it, you're not going to be dissuaded. If you get into an argument, are you going to win or not?
Stubborn. Yeah.
So, composure is if you're flustered, not losing it.
I don't get a lot of that, unfortunately. All right.
So, but...
Everything else is at 1?
No.
Oh.
Everything is at 2 except for 1 attribute. So put strength, dex, stam at 2, I would believe.
Because I'm brute, huh?
And then your 1 would be composure.
Great.
So you're that bartender that you could go off or things affect you and
if you make me
shut
mad,
down.
I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm mad.
Is that what you want? I mean, you don't have to do it.
No, this looks good. I think this is Vampire Mitch.
All right.
He's probably a little smarter than you should be, but that's okay.
So now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much how it works.
Gotcha.
And they used to. So they used to. You would prioritize the categories. They don't do that anymore.
Literally, a keyboard jinx. I like it. That really just happened.
Yep. Power, finesse, and defense. Or bulwark. They don't do you prioritize the categories anymore. Now you go all around. You have this thing. So, for skills, there's a life path version, and then there's just a distribution version.
Okay.
Which one do you want to do?
Well, tell me the difference between the two of them.
The distribution version is you pick to be a jack of all trades, balanced, or a specialist, and that gives you what points you can put in skills. But if we go by the life path, we will literally go, okay, what did you do for a living? Now find a skill that represents that and put this in there.
Gotcha.
And that kind of a thing.
Okay. Well, since we're doing me and we're kind of pushing through it, let's do the life path version.
All right. So starting with the life path, professional skills. You probably did best at what you had to do to earn paycheck. You certainly got the most practice out of it. Your profession gives you 2 skills at 3 dots each, and 2 skills at 2 dots each. So this is teacher and bartender. So look at those.
And find 3 and 2. Sorry.
So you get 2 skills at 3, 2 skills at 2. So 2 3s, 2 2s.
Well, let's go with
academics.
Yeah, be a 3 for me.
Yep. And then on the bartender side,
etiquette, awareness, finance, investigation, medicine, occult, politics. Politics. I'm not going with that. Performance, persuasion.
Yeah.
Let's go persuasion.
I think persuasion.
Let's go persuasion, because that would be teaching. It's teaching too, by the way, guys.
So those are your 3s?
Persuading young minds, yes. And
so
then 2 2s?
2 2s, so maybe insight and...
As much as it sounds silly to say it, I kind of like etiquette.
And etiquette,
I like, you know, behavior, like, know how to act. Because when you walk in, I'll read you, sell you, move you along.
Okay, so 2 2s, right?
Yeah, 2 2s and 2 3s.
Now, you're going to get a specialty in one of those, specifically for your profession. We'll get that at the end, though.
Okay.
You write that on the little dotted line in parentheses. So, like, if you were etiquette and you had a specialty in that, you would write what it is.
Oh, okay.
Like bartending or whatever it is, like beer sales.
So, like, persuasion would be like alcohol sales.
Something like that. And there's some in the book for suggestions, but just know that you have that. Also, academics. There's certain ones. There's... Let me go back to this. These following abilities: academics, craft, performance, and science all automatically get a specialty. Like, you don't just, I'm a scientist. No, I'm a chemist. I'm a meteorologist, right? Academics, like, I'm an academic. No, I'm a this, right? So we'll figure out. It's most likely going to be your academics. Well, academics already gets one, so we'll look at one for your your persuasion and things like that. Sure. All right. So now life events. What major life events shaped you? Did you serve a tour in Iraq, go through an abusive relationship, win the lottery, have kids? Did you get mugged and take up Taekwondo? Whatever it was, it taught you something. So think of some things you did in life, and this couldn't, like, you can make up
this probably won't be Mitch here. So let's do something like beat substance abuse, and had a poor family life.
So what skills would that give you?
Oh, I see.
Right?
Oh.
So
maybe
poor family life with some survival or brawl.
Survival. No, I don't want to say like he was a fighter, because that wouldn't have been what he was good at. So
or larceny.
Let's do survival and streetwise.
Oh, there you go.
He got left by himself quite a bit and did a lot of drugs, so he can find
survival and streetwise. I listened to a lot of pop rock.
Those were some pretty dark times.
Nice.
He got a Linkin Park tattoo that he had to have removed twice.
So specifically, one event taught you a skill at 3.
Ooh.
And another taught you a skill at 2.
Let's do streetwise at 3, because that would be both.
Yeah.
Survival's more of like a, if I had to, like, find food for free.
All right, leisure skills. What did your profession pay for your events interrupt? Did you run a triathlon to go to EDM festivals every weekend? What did you do for kicks? What you do for kicks also teaches you things. So,
It was, I mean, that would still be like video games, maybe.
So 3 skills at 1.
3 skills at 1. Let's say, like, yeah, played some music, so maybe performance.
Yep.
So performance.
Played some guitar or whatever.
Read a lot of books, maybe some occult.
Okay.
You know, like, probably had some pretty dark Papa Roach times. Some occult. I guess the video games, maybe the technology at 1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's see that.
Built a gaming computer and things like that.
That's definitely not Mitch, if you know Mitch.
All right, now we're going to look at... So now it's time to get fill in the skills that you've had your eye on and haven't got yet. Either you pick one of these 2 things. Did you specialize in something in your life and really focus on it, or did you generalize in a lot of things? I believe you're a generalist,
I'm
right?
pretty general.
There isn't.
No, for sure. Yeah.
So take 2 more skills at 2 dots and 4 more skills at 1 dot.
2 more at 2,
So
4
2,
more at 1?
Yeah, 2 at 2, 4 at 1. And this is the time to get things like awareness and brawl and larceny, firearms, craft. Craft is repair and building things, like making an IKEA bookshelf. Melee stealths are is good. Medicine, science, also good for your teacher background. Finance, makes money, things like that.
There we go. This teacher right here. So I chose for my 2 2s. I got firearms and brawl because bars.
Yep.
Then for my 4 1s, I took stealth, performance, leadership, and science.
Okay.
So some schooling, some streets. This would be a bad teacher. Does CC mean character creation, just for me?
Yes, character creation. Okay. That was your human life. So now we're getting to some fun stuff.
So, did I need to do a specialty, or are we not there yet?
Oh, yeah, let's do this. Okay.
I wrote it just so I wouldn't forget it right here.
Yeah, I have to get into there.
All right.
Books. Books! Here we go. Almost.
Also, if anybody's out there on the east side of Tucson that wants to bring us beer, that would be great.
So for academics...
And yes, Robert, this book is artistic as hell.
It is
actually a really pretty source book, I have to say.
It's got some great things. Also, I looked over it a little bit before the new stuff, but I sat down for 3 hours today and read through a lot of it. They've done some cool thing with vampire. They've done some cool stuff, cool concepts. All right, so academics, you automatically get one.
Add one?
You get one. Sorry, not add one. Get one specialty. Specialties are things like architecture, English, literature, history of art, history, specific field or period, journalism, philosophy, research, teaching, theology. Assuming teaching. Do you have craft?
Nope.
Okay. Do you have performance?
Yes.
And you have science as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's look at science real quick. Astronomy, biology, chemistry, demolitions.
Oh, I get a specialty in that because I'm a teacher.
No, automatically because.
Oh, science. You said that science and performance have specialties.
Yeah.
Got you. So sorry.
Astronomy, biology, chemistry, demolitions, engineering, genetics, geology, mathematics, physics.
Astronomy.
Okay.
Because that's awesome.
And performance, kind of, these make sense. Comedy, dance, drama, drums, guitar, keyboards, poetry, public speaking, rap, singing, violin, wind instruments.
Public speaking.
There you go. Now you can pick another skill related to your field of work and give it another specialty. So we want to do persuasion. Let's look at persuasions.
And persuasion's at 3.
Yeah.
I can add another
specialty.
Oh, add
so
a special to it.
Bargaining, fast talk, interrogation, legal argument, negotiation, rhetoric.
Say those one more time. Sorry.
Bargaining, fast talk, interrogation, legal argument, negotiation, rhetoric.
Fast talk.
Okay. And so anytime you can say you're doing that thing, that specialty, while rolling that dice pool, you get an extra die added.
Nice.
Okay. So, now we choose your disciplines. You know your 3 disciplines, right? So you have potence, you have celerity, you have presence.
Yes.
Now you're going to pick 1 at 2 and 1 at 1, and you're not going to have the 3rd. Starting it.
So we'll do presence at 2 and celerity at 1.
Presence 2, celerity at 1.
So you need to write these in?
There's a discipline area, right?
Cool. Yeah, but the spot is blank. Okay, so I'm going to do presence.
Now for one of the most interesting parts of the new vampire. So, up till now, so we did the skills and the life path and all that, and that was kind of his human self. And then he got embraced and he got brought in. He got his disciplines. But he also has to become a predator. He has to hunt humans. And there's different kinds of predators. And what kind of predator you became will give you more skills and abilities.
Interesting.
So, here are the types of predators that you can have been. You can be an alley cat.
Which
let me hold on real quick. I think they have a cool.
And just real quick, we're glossing over a couple of things here, like desire, concept, ambition.
Yeah, that's all in this character.
Oh, okay,
it's in order.
Gotcha.
Well, not on the order there. But.
So for those of you following along at home, I'm about halfway through with my first vampire character sheet. This is more or less real life Mitch filled out on a vampire character sheet. Sorry if you can't see it, or if you want to go back and pause it later and look at it. I like that kind of stuff. I like to look at and touch and see character sheets and things. So
here we go. All right, predator types. Predator styles. You can be an alley cat. You take blood by force or threat. You just attack people. You hunt. You literally hunt and physically overpower people to feed off of them. A bagger. You acquire preserved or dead blood rather than hunt the living. So, there's one thing about you can't just go to a blood bank. You can't just rob the Red Cross because
I wrote Red Cross. That's my hint.
Because they separate plasma from platelets and red blood cells, and then even if they keep it fresh, they put preservatives into it. So it almost loses all of its nutritional value. But there are ways to get it. Like animal blood normally can do it, but it's very you have to drink a shit ton. But there are vampire organizations that get it.
Gotcha.
You could be a blood leech. That is, you have another vampire that you feed off of, and they take care of you and keep you fed because you don't want to go out and hunt humans.
Gotcha.
That will make you bloodbound to someone, but you have your fix waiting for you always. It's consistent, but you're beholden to someone. A cleaver. Cleaver is fun.
Tabletop, are you a vampire?
A cleaver.
He is. Oh no.
No. You take blood covertly from your own family and friends. So the people that used to be your family and all that.
Oh, hang out at home.
You hang out at home or whatever. Like if you had a wife, you take it from her and explain it to her somehow.
That's kind
else.
of shitty.
Yeah. So one thing to note about this is that the vampire bite is euphoric to humans, and a lot of them don't realize what happened to them. You can also, the saliva in vampires' mouths can close vampire fang wounds. So when you take someone, you can take it like a little bit at a time. Like you could have sex with your wife and bite her. She would think she was getting off, and you close it up, and you took a little bit from her. But you're doing that to your wife. She's weakened. She's anemic now. Whatever type of thing. I'm doing a lot of this.
That's alright.
I'm doing the Brad Pitt from 12 Monkeys. Monkey. So
consume.
that's a cleaver. Consensualist.
Ooh.
You take blood with consent. Like you tell someone either that you're a vampire or that you lie to them and say you're a real vampire. Like we have nowadays, these people that think they're vampires and convince these people. Or you say
like
you
tabletop tequila.
Yeah. So you work you work at a lab?
Yeah.
I go and get my blood taken like every 3 months.
I haven't given blood in...
Mine's just for testing. Mine's not for...
2000... No, the last time I had to have blood taken for anything was 2010. Oh, shit, 2010.
So the consensualist,
Gotcha.
straight up says what they are. Most of it is technically a breach of the Masquerade. If you tell them you're a vampire, but if it keeps them shut, keeps their mouth shut and keeps you fed, then whatever. Because a lot of them like it. Farmer. You feed on animals. Osiris. As an object of devotion, you feed from your cult, church, or fans. I know that would perk you up, but as a bartender, you probably don't have fans. I think there's another one down here for you.
Hey, fuck you.
No, I think there's another one down here that's like, I know what you're thinking.
My regulars are my fans.
No,
right? You guys are all my
that's
fans.
not... Okay. Sandman. You feed from sleeping victims. Scene Queen. You feed from a subculture or exclusive group in which you enjoy high status.
Boom.
Like that's I feed from my patrons, right? Siren. You feed by seduction under the guise of sex.
Wow, there's actually a lot of these. So we have the alley cat, which is a forced take.
Yeah, you're a hunter.
A bagger who finds this someplace. I'm guessing bagger means they have it in a bag somewhere. Yeah. Leech is taking it from another vampire, someone that's providing me with blood. Cleaver is covertly from my family. Consensualist is taking it from people that know. They're giving it to me on purpose. Farmers, the animals. Osiris is like a cultist, or taking it from fans or people that are willing to give it up. The Sandman is catching people in their sleep. Scene Queen is somebody that I have high status in the group and I kind of feed on them.
Yep.
And then Siren would be like a whore, like I'm seducing you.
You're a call person or yeah.
Wait, what? I'm definitely going Scene Queen.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that was in my Predator up here?
Correct.
This is fun.
This is... I'm really digging this new system. Scene Queen. So you add a specialty to etiquette, specific scene, so the bar scene.
Yep.
Do you have leadership, right?
Yep.
You have leadership bar scene.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. No, take that back.
That's okay.
You get etiquette, leadership, or streetwise bar scene. So one of those will get bar scene.
Let's go etiquette.
I think etiquette
is skill in that.
Right. So.
And I'm streetwise as shit anyway, so I don't need the bar scene.
You can gain 1 dot of dominate or potence as a discipline.
I don't have dominate or potence.
So you could get one.
Oh.
Now potence is your clan discipline.
Yeah.
You could get that right now. Or you can take dominate as well.
No,
I think potence.
Let's do potence. Yeah. All right.
You gain a 1-star fame advantage. So find your advantages. I think they might be on the backside.
Or was the backside?
Yep.
Fame.
Fame 1. So you're in the bar scene. You're known.
East side.
Dominate is good. He has presence already though. So. I gain the contact advantage at 1 dot.
because I can find anything.
Like you have a contact in your distributor or whatever, whatever it is, and gain either the influence flaw disliked outside your subculture, or the feeding flaw prey exclusion, a different subculture from yours. So your subculture is the bar scene. You either refuse to go feed off of bums or strippers or whatever.
I don't want to feed off academics. I don't want to feed off students and children and people that work in the industry or my other industry.
Your other industry. Okay, so find flaws. Yep, and put in it's prey exclusion academics or prey exclusion children. That actually might be the better one, but both are good. Actually, you're probably going to take the other one anyway, so it doesn't matter. Write down there.
And that's one?
That's one.
Okay. So that means, here's a question since we're on the stream. This is a flaw, but it's at one dot, meaning I might be able to, in an emergency, kind of override that, be like, to hell with it.
If something happens that makes you override it, there's a whole set of rules for it. It's part of your convictions, things like that. But that'll start going after your humanity. That gives you a stain. So you're this immortal predator now that can't feel, you can't eat, you don't breathe anymore. Sensation is all dull. The only time you feel alive is when you're feeding on someone.
Gotcha.
And you're trying to still live amongst mortals and not become a complete monster.
Gotcha.
And that's what that humanity rating is going to represent, and that's what it does. Yeah, it's right under your stats at the top.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, health, yeah. Humanity's down there. Alright, so you got your disciplines, you got your predator. Now...
It's the downward spiral, yeah.
The downward spiral.
I don't know if you guys know, we have guest star here,
Bandy.
Bandolier. Oh, almost. Hi. Yeah, she's camera shy, but she's here.
Now you're going to pick your advantages. You're going to spend 7 points on advantages, and you have to take 2 points of flaws in addition to what you already had. So, advantages are things like, and so they're written up here, they're called advantages. They come in two types, merits and flaws, and almost all of them have both. And you can have both. So you'll understand what I'm saying when I talk about this first one. So like you couldn't have it on this first one. Looks. If you have looks, you can take it as a flaw and be ugly or repulsive, or you can take it as an advantage and be beautiful or stunning. There's also linguistics. You speak English. You probably speak one other language of your choice, maybe Spanish because you taught at a school. And then for every dot you put in linguistics, you'll learn another language. Substance use, which you said you beat, so I think you're done with that now, right? Substance use is weird for vampires because you can't get it. It could still be alcohol. If you've beat like a heavier substance, you can still take one for alcohol. But substance use, you have to get it through blood. So you have to get your prey drunk for you to get the effects of alcohol.
Oh, what a pain in the ass. Except I work in a bar.
Right. So, flaw, there's hopeless addiction and addiction, the two levels. But there's also high-functioning addict as a merit. And that allows you to ignore penalties of having the substance in you.
Let's do that one. That makes it interesting. So this is going to be considered a flaw.
So you're gonna, which one are you gonna take? High functioning. Okay. Addict. And you feed off drunk people all the time. So
that's what I do all day.
Good.
Feed off drunk people.
So this is a merit. This is gonna be take one of your 7 points.
So this is still going into
advantages and flaws.
Okay.
Right. So, but it's under substance use. High functioning addict. You add 1 die to any one category of pool, specifically when you choose the substance you use when the last person you fed from you was on the drug.
So say that one more time.
So what's going to happen is when you feed off someone that was drunk, you can add 1 die to any one category of pool dice pool, specifically when you choose the substance you use, which substance you use. It's going to be alcohol, and they don't give me the relation of that. But let's say, what is it like? Is it fighting? Is it like, what do you get better at when you're drunk?
Oh, I see. Interesting. How about
talking?
Public speaking.
Yeah.
Fast talk, maybe.
Fast talk.
That'll probably not get
Well,
better.
it's not even, not fat. Don't pick a specialty, but just pick persuasion.
Yeah, persuasion.
You get better at persuasion when you're drunk.
So if I can manage to get my prey drunk, then drink off them, then I'm more persuasive.
Drive. So this is only for older vampires. It's archaic.
We call that the Nabocus influence.
Bonding. So bonding will give you either resistance or weakness to the blood bond as a flaw or an advantage. So either you're resistant to being blood bonded, or you just go right in.
Real quick, because we talked about it quite a bit, I get 1 point in that substance use.
You get 1 point. You spent 1 point.
Okay, and I have how many points?
You have 7.
Whoa.
So you have 6 left.
Okay.
You also must take 2 more flaws, 2 more points of flaws.
This one's a merit.
That's a merit.
Okay.
Okay.
So the blood bond.
Blood bonding, I'd kind of ignore it for now, but
that's fine.
feeding. So you already got this.
Mm-hmm.
With the won't feed off academics. I would suggest taking it again with prey exclusion for kids. So now you have kids and academics, and that eats up one of your flaw dots. So,
Okay. This is a weird system. I like it.
Yes. So besides vegan, organivore, which you have to eat flesh along with blood. Methuselah's thirst, you can only gain sustenance from supernatural blood, vampires, werewolves, that. Prey exclusion, you have 2 points of those. I think you're good there. The merits of them are bloodhound. So bloodhound is you can smell the resonance of a human's blood, and resonance is a brand new rule in this. So it's not just orgasmic when a vampire feeds on someone for the person, it's orgasmic for the vampire. Like, that's the only time you feel anything, and it's everything. It's
the only way I can drink.
But it's not just drinking, it's everything.
Yeah.
Think of the best meal you've ever had, the best sex you've ever had, the best drink you've ever had, the most exciting carnival ride, the happiest day of your life. Mix all of those together, and that's what drinking from someone is. And that's the only time you feel anything.
Bummer.
Right? So, but when you're drinking from someone, you're also getting what they bring. They have a flavor. Are they sad? Are they horny? Are they fearful? Are they angry? And what kind of a person are they in their lives? Are they just a depressed, melancholic person with daddy issues? And so this is called resonance.
Would I consider that depression a feeling that I still like? I know it sucks.
You love it. Like, yeah. You're feeling someone else's, like you're getting in on it. And
that's a
resonance.
Flaw, or that's
this is a merit is to smell it. And resonance has 2 effects. There's ones that are the immediate, the flavor of what they are right now. If you make someone afraid and then feed from them, you'll get that fearful. If you seduce someone or make them happy and laugh, you'll get those flavors, and that can affect some dice pools, okay? But if they are, whatever it is, if they're long-term, like this guy is a complete crazy conspiracy theorist that is paranoid at everything, and he has been his whole life, and it's because his, dad went off and tried to shoot some sheriffs up and got killed.
That seemed like I wouldn't want to do this because of my profession.
Right.
Like,
but then if you feed off that guy and he's got a deep-rooted resonance, that gives you an effect. That gives you, now I can see paranoia in other people. Now, I'm drinking off this guy who was beat as a kid, and now all he does is pump iron. That's his life because he never wants to get beat again. When I feed off him, my potence gets better. Those kind of things.
Gotcha.
It's super interesting. Very, very complex. I didn't get to read it all, and it's super complex, but cool.
We'll keep that in mind.
Iron Gullet
that's
is...
Resonance Bloodhound, right?
Yeah, Bloodhound lets you feel resonance. Iron Gullet is another one. You can feed from cold blood, rancid blood, fraction plasma. None of these provide resonance, but you can still get sustenance from it, which normally people can't. That's called Iron Gullet. But you're not a bagger. Like, that would be a great one for a bagger. So now we're getting to mythic merits and flaws. Stake bait. So these are the ones that will give you flaws that make you even more vampire myth. So in vampire, you can't go out in the sun, it burns you. Fire will absolutely eat you up and destroy you. If you get your head cut off, you're done. But a stake through the heart just paralyzes you. Every other type of damage is nothing to you. It's just normal, like, oh shit, I had bullets at me, this kind of hurts. But like, you could take a shot in the head, you can get cut in half, none of that matters.
And that's all vampires?
This is all vampires.
Okay.
Now these are flaws that will make you even more vampire myth and give you more weaknesses. Like stake bait. Stake through the heart will kill you one shot.
Gotcha.
Folklore bane. Ultraviolet light, silver or silver-plated weapons, and holy water will all damage you as if it were fire.
Not garlic.
Folklore block. Holy symbols, crossing visible running water, crossing a threshold without being invited, white animals, garlic, wild roses, and spilled seeds you haven't counted.
Damn it.
So that will make you have to, like, that gives you a block. You must shrink away or spend willpower to push through if you take one of these.
I like that one because it's fun. Like, that's a vampire one, you know, like
yep.
the garlic and the white animal, the crossing running water. I live in the desert on purpose, maybe. Let's
you
go.
don't live in the desert, you live in Boston.
Oh, that's right. I fucking live in Boston.
Yeah.
Then no, I'm not in the running water.
So Stigma.
You've never heard this? There's a couple movies out here. This is kind of this is a really old thing. Demons, witches, warlocks, that sort of thing. If I take
berries, seeds, salt grains.
Salt's one of them too. You can also do, like, you know, this bag just happens to have dice in it. If I just dump this out in front of you, you have to count it.
Stop and count it.
Yeah, and it's a way to, like, escape. Yeah. So if you knew that, and I was coming for you, and you threw a bag of fucking, I know, right? It's a vast bag of fuckery. If you threw the seeds on the ground, I would not pursue you anymore. I would have to stop and count all the fucking sunflower seeds.
Those folklore, like, and I know you know some of these in, like, Fae culture, like pouring the salt around your bed. It wasn't because they can't cross salt or salt burns them. It's because they had to count every salt grain, and it would take them all night, and they couldn't get to you. So,
like that. So we'll come back to that.
We'll come back. Stigmata, which is if your hunger ever gets up to a high level, you start having stigmata wounds, bleed from the eyes, from the hands, things like that. Now, here's a cool one. Here's an advantage. They have to count it. Yeah, that was the trick for that. This is a cool one. Eat food as a merit.
I can eat real food.
You can actually eat food. You can consume food without effort and might even enjoy it, though it gives no nourishment and must be expelled before resting for the day. You have to go it up, but you could sit at the bar, eat some food.
So I work in a restaurant. It would definitely help with my recovery.
That's a 2-point thing if you want it, but we're about to get into some other cool stuff, which is the backgrounds. This is where you get allies, contacts,
and this is all
mentors. These are all parts of advantage flaws, and you still have 6 points left.
I have 7 points altogether. I have 5 points left.
What else did you buy?
I took a second level in feeding flaw, and one.
No, prey exclusion is a flaw. So you have 7 advantages, 2 flaws.
Oh.
So you have to take 2 flaws.
So but substance abuse was a high functioning substance abuse was a merit. Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. So I have 1 more flaw, and then I have 6 more advantages.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
All right. Backgrounds. Allies. So there's allies and there's enemies. You can spend up to 6 points. This will go into a combined effectiveness of this person that you buy, and the enemies actually don't give that much, but they're worth less. Not worthless, but worth less.
Gotcha.
So there's a scale of effectiveness of what that ally can do for you. And allies are people that will do things for you. These are the guys you can call to bury a body type of thing. unlike contacts, which just give you information. So allies' effectiveness is weak mortal, likely useless in a violent or potentially violent situation. 2 is average mortal or tight-knit group of weak mortals, neighborhood kids who solve mysteries, church group, blah, blah, blah. Gifted mortal or dangerous group of average mortals, a street gang, celebrity, entourage, blue-collar, union, local. And 4 points will give you a deadly mortal or gifted mortal with magic, or a well-armed group of gifted mortals.
So in this game, humans have some magical capabilities as well.
Some of them. There's some sorcerers out there. Then there's reliability. When can you call on this, right? So this would be a great one to represent your bar. So when can you call up and go, hey guys, hey fellas, I'm getting harassed over here, I need some help, and you get a group showing up.
Or like I need to escape and I'm like, I'm not fucking here. Like,
yeah.
That sort of thing.
Things like that. So like doing a 2 with a reliability of 1 or 2, because they're not very reliable. It's whoever's there that night or whoever you can call on at any given time.
Let's just do that one.
So, yep.
So this would be an advantage, and it would be called
allies.
Allies?
Yep. So you can spend like upwards of 5 points on this. Actually 3. I'd say maybe 4. I'd say go for level 3 of effectiveness.
So how do I write that individually?
You won't write individually. It'll be a total of 4 dots.
Let's do 2 of the effectiveness and 1 for the reliability.
Okay.
So we have 3.
So 3. So that is weak mortals.
But it's a close-knit group.
No, it's weak mortals as effectiveness, and they only show up at half the time.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. So weak mortals.
And if you added 1 more, it would be average mortals. Like, so look at putting that. All right. So contacts are people you know. They give you information. Contacts give you, and if you want enemies, we can go back to that. But I think
I'd rather not. Yeah. I'm a nice guy. I'm all about charisma and public speaking.
There's only 3 levels of contact. The first level is 1 contact who can
call up the Modians too.
Yeah, who can do or get something cheap or common for you. Example: a weed dealer, a car salesman. 2 is 1 contact who can do something useful for you, like a small-time gun dealer or a veterinarian. And 3 is a contact who can do or get something expensive or hard for you. That's security system expert, police lieutenant in homicide, narcotics, or other useful field. Like, they can get you really good stuff.
I've already got... I don't think I need any of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fame, you already got a little bit of that in your bar scene.
Fame, yeah.
You can also take flaws in this.
A dark secret.
You can owe a big debt to bad people or have made yourself generally odious. That would be Shane.
Yeah. Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane. He's not watching. Influence. Influence is you have pull in a mortal community. Like, that's where you get into politics or police, the fire department, or the drug community or whatever it is, and you have influence in it. I think you already have influence in bar scene? No?
No, it's
No.
I have allies in the bar
Allies
scene.
in the bar scene.
Yeah.
It was a choice of fame, influence, or something else,
I took
right?
a little bit of fame, yeah.
Okay. This is another good one. Haven. Haven is you have a place to sleep that the sun doesn't get to. Always nice to have around, but a lot of them will have, like, this is when you really want to buy better stuff. You want to buy security systems and things like that. You can have a house, it can be shuttered up and it's fine, but each point will allow you to get another trait for your haven. Hidden armory, a cell, a watchman, a laboratory, a library, location is better or worse than anything else.
Perfect.
Luxury.
Let's do Haven with a library.
Okay. Haven with library.
So it's
just
2
put
points, right?
It's 1 point.
It's 1 point.
Yep. Haven, library. Unless you want one of these other things: security system, surgery, warding.
So I still need 1 more flaw and 1 more point of advantage.
Okay. So there's herd. Herd is you have a stable feeding area.
Okay.
As a flaw, you can come off as an obvious predator for 2 points, but for how many points you have left?
I have 1 point for flaws and 1 point left for advantages.
Okay. So with 1, you get 1 to 3 vessels with random resonance and no disgracious. I don't know if I'm saying this word right. This is the thing that gives you the cool abilities.
Disgracious? What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's the, like, when the person has really got a resonance that gives you abilities. So
it's dyscrasia. So it's an abnormal or disordered state of the body or bodily part. It's dyscrasia.
Dyscrasia. So this is disgracious.
Disgracious.
Yeah, disgracious. So that can give you a herd, but I think you can go out and hunt fine.
Yeah, especially
in your bar. I think this is probably the one you want. There's one more that you may want, which is okay. So we'll go. I'm gonna name these real quick. There's Mask. You have a mortal identity. So I think as a bar owner, that's probably a no-brainer. You have to have a mortal identity if you're still running that bar.
We'll hit the other ones real fast and we'll pick.
Maula is you have a kindred mentor. So like Aurora is still hanging out with you and is fond of you and is helping you out. Resources is money. And yeah. Money. There's also retainers. You have someone that you command. You have not just employees that you can say, hey, do work for me. This is go kill someone.
And then flaws for that would be a stalker.
Stalkers. There's status. You can be shunned or notorious.
Well, let's go Mask for the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Mala. There's destitute. You have no money, which I don't... You run a bar, so you're fine. And then flaw for Mask is you're known to have died. Or known blank body.
Mask as an advantage.
So Mask advantage 1. You have good fake identity, including a credit card, bank account, credit history, birth certificate, etc., all in your Mask's name. You can pass state and provincial level background checks.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So now we just need to pick one more disadvantage, and we're finished with the advantages flaws section.
Which does take the longest. So
I kind of like Stalker a little bit because I'd have like people that I've thrown out or people that are kind of on to me a little bit. Or like, come on now. You've owned this bar for 72 years.
You have a tendency to attract people who become a tad too smitten with you for your own good. A former retainer retains their memory of you and desire to reconnect. They may be hungry, love-maddened, desperate, opportunistic, or any combination or variation. Should you get rid of them, another soon appears. So
it's like a bar patron kind of.
Yep, you have these hangers-on that you can't get rid of. And it doesn't have to be smitten. It could be that they're also out to get you, close your bar, or thing like that.
Don't care for me yet. All right.
So that is advantages.
So we're a little bit past the halfway point. Can we take a quick little break?
Yeah, you want to run and get some beer?
I can do that. Yeah, if you want to put it on there, it'll take me a second.
Yeah. You have to take my keys. It's on my dresser. Little keep fob. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick little break. Well, he's going to be gone. I'm going to stay here. If you guys want to keep talking, if you want to ask me any questions about the new system, I will look it up and do stuff for you. Or look up stuff for you and discuss with you. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and read about resonance. Yeah, I think they did a great job. And they got it taken away from them because they did some stupid, offensive things in their writing. But this system seems pretty solid. Like, the combat and everything, like, smooth, very, very cinematic. And they even say, like, hey, any combat, and combat is, they should call them conflicts. Your willpower and your health bar are both attackable. So very much like L5R, when you're in social situations and you're having an argument or when you're having a debate with someone, you're attacking their willpower and you're doing damage to it. But they say Modipus, they're the people that do the new Modifius. They're the people that do the new what's that game called? It's the 40K knockoff. I can see it. Why can't I think of it? I have all the books. There's my Werewolf the Apocalypse. Yes, Mutant Chronicles. They're the ones that do that. They also Modifius. Yeah. They've got some good games. They do Mutant Year Zero. They do Mutant Chronicles. They just kickstarted this very, very dark and brooding fantasy, like D&D alternative, but it's like World of Darkness, Dungeons and Dragons. Like everything's dark and you're kind of playing. It's pretty cool. You're playing these people that have to go out and survive against these terrors that have been invading the world. Bandolier! And dandy. Yeah? Yeah. So any questions on clans, disciplines, abilities, character creation, the stuff? I know, I have so many games. D&D is just so solid, though, and it's what gets things done. Though Vampires making a comeback, too, with this edition. And they also have that Geeks and Sundry as a vampire Masquerade show going on. I mean, I'd be down. I just... I think D&D has the most, streamable value. So I feel that we should always have a D&D game on the stream. Yes. But I would definitely love to run, like, after reading this, it just reminded me of all this stuff. And I was saying a little bit before, like, I was a little goth kid, and my friends all wanted me to play Vampire. Wanted me to run Vampire, because I was the only person they knew that ran games. And I did not want to do it. I did not like Vampire. I don't like the playing the villain games. And that's what I'd seen amongst the groups that played it, is they pretty much just played it as undead superheroes, and they got to do whatever they want and kill people and not think twice about it. They definitely played it to stroke their egos. And then when I read it and I started running it, I'm like, oh my god, like, this is adult, soap opera-y drama, twists and turns. This is what gave me the ability to run games that I wasn't just trying to craft a big bad evil guy to take on the entire party, because in this, the big bad evil guy is untouchable, and he's on your side, supposedly. The princes, the dukes, and all these people. So I started running it where the drama was the main focus, and people have to deal with these complications. They have to deal with owing favors. They have to deal with people getting leverage over them, or trying to get away with things that they don't want anyone to know about. So I had a friend, Courtney, Courtney Nabicus. When I was running my game, she worked in a patent lawyer's office, and we ran on Sundays, and on Mondays she'd go in and tell everyone what happened like it was a TV show. And that's one of the things, that's still one of, stroke my ego. I think one of the best experiences I had as a GM was running the game, figuring out this. I might still have it somewhere nearby. I bet it's right up there. It's in here. I had this portfolio. it's in one of these drawers. Oh well, but it's a portfolio. It had everyone in the city, what they were doing, who they were trying to screw over, who they were, had power over. And I'm like, these plot lines happen. And I used the coterie. They were all brand new made. They were used as weapons from these elders against other things. Got tied up in all this. Deniable assets. But the plot lines were going to happen regardless. And they just, like, sometimes they missed something or something big happened and all of a sudden they were just caught up in the whirlwind. And I'm really pleased with how that vampire game turned out. I know it's somewhere. I know it. Smell it. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting. We are so close to affiliate. We need that 3 chatters at the same, concurrently during our streams, and you're really helping us out. So, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. We're going to be on tomorrow night as well for our regular Dragonborn game. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for all the help. Twinkies.
Oh yeah. Cool. You can have one.
Nah, if you got peanut butter cups, I'd have taken one. We got Stella.
Not sponsored, but
Yeah, you should get into his Discord as well, Nabby. Lots of promotions, lots of other streams to watch, lots of discussions about role playing. I try to avoid them because I don't like to rock boats, and everyone has their own. Did it not let you post? Why didn't it let you post? Well, mainly it's that, I'm not here to tell anyone else how to play their games. But, like, you were having a discussion about PvP in tabletop, and I am definitely not a let's just run and fight each other characters type of person. But if that's what people want to do and enjoy, then go for it. Why didn't... Here, let me, where are you at? Trying to see this over here. Messages.
Shortcuts. 11 minutes.
Huh. It doesn't give me the option to... Oh, here. It doesn't allow me to make you a moderator.
And even Stella?
It's weird. So that you can post your Discord. Yeah, did you take him from Thirsties?
No.
Nah, what's up? Like, where'd you go? That was fast.
Thank you.
Super fast.
It's part of my influence. I know where alcohol is.
A.P. I'll take the bathroom real quick. Where did my coaster go? Oh, my other beer's on it. Yeah, so. TT, tabletop keyboard. I can't. Well, I got this. Yeah, I have it. I'll send it to him. Send it to everyone. I'll go.
Are you taking off, TTK?
Yeah, he's got to go.
Well, thanks for coming. I know we've taken a lot of your time this week. This is the part of the chat where you guys get to watch me eat a Twinkie sultrily. This is mostly for Robert. I know he's into it. Right, Robert? Oh. Mm. 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 Also, if you've never had a fried Twinkie, you're missing out. Robert wanted some ASMR.
Terrible. All right. Back in business. Fried chicken with some ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Crap, I shot my book.
At the fair this year, me and some of my friends, we shared fried cheesecake, fried Twinkie, fried pecan pie, which I've never had before, and it's... Whew, that one was hard to get down. It was good, but it was so sweet. All right. So we just finished up Advantages and Flaws. Sorry about the long wait, guys.
It's a quick break. You were fast, Tony.
It was 11 minutes.
AM, PM. Where?
What the street?
Oh,
Yep.
take already. Convictions and touchstones. Okay. So, convictions and touchstones, you can make 1 to 3 convictions, and then you have to make an equal number of touchstones. So, this is what that is. Convictions are moral statements. What are you anchoring yourself to keep your humanity? Like, I will never allow a child to be harmed type of thing.
Do I need to make one up? Just kind of...
You can make them up. I have some examples.
Get away from Bandy, actually.
Where is here?
That was just what I needed.
I thought I had some examples. Go this way. All right. So, convictions can be beliefs or they can be statements. Things like thou shalt not kill, kill only the unworthy unbelievers in fair combat or in self-defense, never expose children to violence, love thy neighbor as thyself, disobedience is dishonor, protect the innocent from harm, courage is the highest virtue, always keep your sworn word, the truth is sacred, never lie, slavery is evil, obey authority, my country, right or wrong, none may control me, never do drugs, thou shalt not torture, guilty must be punished, things like that.
So let's go with the don't expose children to violence.
Yeah.
That would be kind of nice. No child violence exposure.
What you doing, girl?
So that means now I have to pick a touchstone because I took a conviction.
Correct.
Okay.
And a touchstone is a mortal that's in your life. Whether they're an active part in your life, they're someone that you keep tabs on. If you don't talk to them regularly, you keep tabs on. Geostellar! What's going on?
We are doing a real quick, well, I should say real quick, we're doing a single game. This is something that we had kind of come up with. It's an introductory to a system. So today we're doing Vampire the Masquerade. He went over some lore. We're working on my character sheet, and then we're going to do some play mechanics and he's probably going to murder me at the end.
Probably. So a touchstone is like, hey, your surviving human spouse. Like, do you still have a wife? And did she not leave you? And or did you ever? Like, is there a child that you watch over, like a godparent?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's one of the bar regulars. Maybe it's an old friends or whatever. All kinds of things like that. It's just you have to name a person. It could be a bar regular. It could be an employee.
All touchstones are people.
But they're people, and it's a dagger. It's something that you care for deeply, and I can use against you by killing them.
Gotcha. What's a Danfire?
Dampier, half vampire.
That's a very good description of what we had in mind. We'll see. Let's go with.
Maybe it's your ex-wife now because you couldn't get through it with her.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's go with ex-wife.
But you're still protective and watchful over her.
Sorry, actual wife watching at home.
But she's moving on and doing good things, right? So that's you don't have to do any more, but you can if you want.
Let's stop there just because we're doing a quick one.
Yep. You got your prayer friends, you got your good Sea of Time. So you're a childer, you're embraced within the last 15 years, you're embraced last couple of months. Your blood potency is 1.
Which means that makes it hard for me to make other people bloodbound.
No, that's just a cap on how much blood you can spend. Like, it's not spend, but what your blood does for you. Because being a vampire does have advantages. You're not just a human. It makes you stronger, it can make you faster, it makes you heal, and you can only do one thing at a time, essentially. If you were, and silly, between like 1970 and 1940, like you were embraced, you would have a starting blood potency of 2.
Oh, so it takes that long.
Like, yeah, it's hundreds of years, like, for blood potency.
Gotcha.
I think it's like, might be decades, whatever it is. But also, when potency gets too high, you can't feed off humans anymore. You have to feed off vampires or other supernatural creatures.
Oh, that's when you get to a certain potency.
You get to all of a sudden, like, the elders are feeding off the youngers, but you can go into torpor. You can basically just put yourself in a coffin and hang out for decades and decades and decades, and let your blood potency stagnate down again.
Interesting.
So, this is pretty much it. Now we just have to go in and pick your powers for your...
So do I need to worry about Chronicle Tenants or Clanbane that are on here? Or are we going to gloss over those?
Oh, your Clanbane is a compulsion for Bruja. Let's go back here. Bruja.
They were first.
Yep. Right here. The blood of Bruja simmers with barely contained rage, exploding at the slightest provocation.
Say that one more time, sorry.
The blood of the Bruja simmers with barely contained rage, exploding at the slightest hint of provocation. Subtract dice equal to the bane severity of the Bruja from any roll to resist Fury Frenzy. This cannot take the pool below 1 die. So...
Also, how dare you suggest that I haven't played Symphony of the Night? I'm surprised I don't have a Symphony of the Night tattoo. Symphony of the Night's one of the few games that I've bought multiple times because I end up giving it away or like loaning it to someone or like buying it for a different system or buying it on the PlayStation Store versus having the actual physical cartridge versus having the disc. Or sorry, it wasn't a cartridge, that was a PlayStation 1 game, but... No. I'm bad at that stuff. Oh no, I'm just teasing you. You don't have to worry about that. Blush of Life. So
Blush of Life allows you to look human You take the blood that you've drained and you push it through your heart essentially, and make it flush your capillaries. You make yourself breathe. You make yourself blink. So Flesh of Life makes you not look like an undead person.
So my clan bane then is my hot-bloodedness.
Yes. So.
And that's I suffer a dice reduction in bane severity versus fury or frenzy checks, basically.
Correct. Awakening, dangers, frenzy. Come on, frenzy.
I wonder, is Vampire Hunter D, is he Dampier?
He's a Dampier.
He's a Dampier.
Yeah,
Hey, I got it. I'm learning.
The blood. Here we go. Bruja. Bruja. Vampire takes a stand against whatever... Oh, so this is a compulsion. I don't know if you have a place on this for compulsions.
Oops. No.
Yeah. Compulsions occur on a bestial failure as the hunger subtly urges you. So there's all kinds, like, we haven't even got to how you roll dice and what happens with them. But there's things called messy criticals and bestial failures. Mm-hmm. And that's when, so as a vampire, you literally have a beast inside of you that wants to feed all the time.
So sometimes my successes are gross, like I shouldn't have, I'm like a
well, it takes over. Like, so, and the hungrier you are, the more that beast has influence over you. And you have lost control before, and when you wake up, it's not pretty. It's like vampires are almost like the mindset of them, the fight or flight is always to preserve vampires, right? Is to not show yourself to that, like to get away and get out, except when you're hungry. Once that hunger takes over,
you don't care if anybody sees me or what I'm doing.
I need to feed, otherwise I die, and I'm just going to tear apart everything. And that little thing, that little beast that's always inside you, it's not just hunger. It can come out because of other things. If you're surrounded by fire, or even someone flicks a lighter in your face, that can trigger the beast. If someone starts like saying, you're a fucking asshole, this and that, like, getting a rise out of you, he can get you to go frenzy because you are not human anymore. You don't have that composure like they do. There is an animal inside you that wants to destroy everything around it and show that it's the best and strongest. So this is like when someone taunts you, you're around fire, or you're hungry, you have these compulsions. We can roll on this random little chart, and it could be a hunger thing and dominance, a harm, or paranoia. There is also one for each clan. Gotcha. Vampire takes a stand against whoever or whomever they see as the status quo in the situation, whether that's their leader, a viewpoint expressed by a potential vessel, or just a task that they're supposed to do at the moment. Until they've gone against their orders or expectations, perceived or real, the vampire receives a 2 dice penalty to all rolls. The compulsion ends once they've managed to either make someone change their minds by force if necessary, or done the opposite of what was expected of them. So to rebel or to force someone to see your point.
So underneath my blood potency, while we're talking about clan bane, there's bane severity. We talked about my feeding penalty. Then there's like mend amount, blood surge, power bonus, rouse, reroll.
Yeah. So there's a couple more things we just have to get, and it's your health, your willpower, your humanity. Okay. But we also have to do that. So your health is your stamina plus 3. So fill in those dots up from left to right. Oh, sorry, no. Don't fill in those dots from left to right. Erase that. That was a mistake. What is that, 5? Mm-hmm. So the first thing, it's 5 in the first block, right?
Yeah.
So just strike through the second 5.
Because I'm going to fill these in until you get hurt.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And your willpower is your composure plus resolve.
That's not good.
5 or 6?
3. My composure plus my what?
Resolve.
Yeah.
3. Oh, God. Yeah, you're going to fly off the handle easily. That makes sense. You're a Bruja. Now, the one thing I have not seen yet at all is Bane severity. I have no idea what that is.
So while you're looking for that, there's also in the up tops here, I've got my name, obviously, whatever I want. Chronicle, concept, ambition, desire, and generation we haven't talked about.
Generation, you're going to be 13 or 12. You could be either one. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Basically the last generations. Chronicle is Mitch versus Wiley versus Mitch.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
the campaign. And what's the other one?
Concept?
Concept is Bartender Mitch.
Oh, I see what
That's
you're
your
saying.
concept.
Ambition.
Ambition. So what do you want now that you're dead? It could be the same thing you wanted in life or not. Like, do you want to open more bars?
Yeah,
do you
now that I'm
want
dead,
to...
yeah, I would like to quit working and move myself up. Yeah.
So your ambition is to get into vampire society.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because,
Okay.
bartending, you do that, you make contacts, you talk to people, you work with people.
And now,
all day
like, you're
long.
like, fuck the bar scene. Like, there's this other whole world. So your
society, and then desire.
desire is something you pick.
Oh, sorry.
You pick that at the beginning of each session, and it's what you want to do right now. Do you want to fuck? Do you want to eat? Do you want to not work tonight? Do you want to, like, what is the thing that you want to do right now?
Well, shit, I guess we have to name this guy Mitch.
Is it Mitch? God damn it. It's a terrible name.
You're telling me.
You know what rhymes with bitch, right?
God damn it. Even when I know people are joking, the whole spiel starts to come out of my mouth. I was a skinny white kid whose name rhymes with bitch through middle school. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, high school was a lot better too. Yeah, great. So when people tell me that, they're like, "Oh, your name rhymes with bitch." I have a whole thing. You'll be so sick of it by the time I'm done. And it's your fault. There's all kinds of neat stuff.
Yeah. And you'll want to get those out. You'll also want to get a different colored dice out. So you want to get 10 of the green dice and then up to 5 of another colored dice.
Those aren't D6s
Probably.
though, are they?
Oh, you're not rolling D6s.
Oh.
You're rolling D10s.
Alright.
Yeah. And I need some dice as well, so I can take the other bags.
Harry Nab.
Is Harold?
Oh, it's
Harold Nab. Beliefs, convictions, touchstones, ambition and desire, predator types.
That game where it's all D10s.
Yep. And you'll be rolling them like Shadowrun, basically.
You said 6 of each?
10, you'll want up to 5 of the red ones and 10 of the green ones. Coteries. We're not making you a coterie.
Where did Nabs come from, Robert?
Nab. His last name's Nab.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Alright. So here's the chart of your blood potency, what it can do. There's not really a place to put it, but just so you know. So what you can do with your blood, the gifts that it gives you, is you can use it to enhance any roll at any time by 1 die. You can just say, I'm calling on the blood to make me stronger or faster or more persuasive, whatever, and you can add a die to the roll. You can also, every turn, heal a point of superficial damage. So damage that is not fire or supernatural. You don't, because you're only blood potency 1, you have no discipline power bonus. You're not pumping anything. Rouse, check, reroll. You don't get any rerolls.
These are things. I
Bane severity. There it is. 1. Your Bane severity is 1. So that's what you get.
Gotcha.
All right. You have no feeding penalty as well. So now the last thing we have to do is pick what powers you have from your disciplines. So you have what? Presence, potence, and celerity?
Presence, celerity, and potence. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's Auspex, animalism, celerity. So what level do you have? 1?
Celerity is 1.
Okay. You can either take Cat's Grace or Rapid Reflexes. Cat's Grace is you automatically pass any dexterity or athletics-based rolls to keep your balance. You can't stand on things that can't support your weight, but you can run across a tightrope, walk along the edge of a building, all that kind of stuff, even run. Rapid Reflexes is, while the bodies still can't defy the laws of nature, vampires with this power perceive events instantly and can react to them with superhuman alacrity. They can observe incoming projectiles to the extent that they can attempt to dodge arrows and even bullets without available cover.
Let's go with that one.
Yep.
Reflexes.
So, Rapid Reflexes. With this power, vampires suffer no penalty to their defense pools for lack of cover against firearm attacks.
See that one?
No penalty against firearm attacks when out of cover. They can also take a minor action worth up to 2 dice per turn, such as readying or reloading a weapon for free. And so that was it. You only have level 1?
Yep.
Okay. And then you have...
Potence is 1 and presence
is 2. Potence. Potent potables. You can take... Lethal Body or Soaring Leap. Lethal Body is using this power. The user is capable of causing horrendous damage to mortals, tearing skin and breaking bones with bare fingers. The user's unarmed attacks can now do aggravated health damage to mortals if desired. They also ignore 1 level of armor per potence level of the user. That is badass.
Yeah, it is.
Soaring Leap, possessing unholy strength in more than arms and fists, the user can leap far higher and further than any mortal. The user can jump a number of meters equal to 3 times their potence level vertically and 5 times their potence level horizontally.
Let's go with the first one. What is it called?
Lethal Body.
Tear your face off.
Presence. You can pick between Awe and Daunt. Awe is anyone in the presence of a vampire finds their... Yeah, so you're picking 1 for each level.
Oh.
So you get your choice at level 1 of these 2, and then there's a 1 for level 2, or you can choose the other one you didn't pick.
Oh, okay.
But you're getting, for every point, you have a power.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for the first dot, Awe and Daunt, or first level is Awe and Daunt. Anyone in the presence of the vampire finds their attention inexplicably drawn to them. Those listening to the vampire speak might suddenly agree on subjects where they once held different opinions or viewpoints. While this power doesn't cause rapt infatuation, it is still strong enough to sway the minds of most mortals. The dice pool is manipulation and presence versus the composure intelligence of your targets. Add the presence rating to any skill roll involving persuasion or performance, as well as the 2 other charisma-related rolls at the storyteller's discretion. Anyone aware that they're being affected can try to resist, like other vampires may realize what you're doing. On a win, the target can resist the effects for 1 scene. A critical win makes the target immune for the entire night.
And then Daunt.
Daunt. Instead of attracting people, the vampire uses presence to repel them.
Let's do Awe.
Okay.
I'm not repelling. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut it short.
Nope, that's fine.
Yeah.
Lingering Kiss is the level 2, so you can take Lingering Kiss or Daunt.
Ooh.
Lingering Kiss is the kiss of a vampire induces near ecstasy in mortals, but this power leaves other kisses in the dust. Mortals fed upon by the user become addicted to the kiss, obsessing over it, and even seeking the vampire out for repeated feedings. Mortals often become anemic, self-harm, or even die from this addiction, but vampires find it useful power for cultivating a herd. The vampire can choose to use this power on or not during each feeding, so it's a choice.
The scene queens, lingering kiss.
Yep. So this also explains why you have stalkers.
Yep, and why I have stalkers, yep.
So the user adds dice equal to the presence to any subsequent charisma attribute assisted pool against the bitten subject. A mortal fed upon with this power can make a willpower test every week to resist the effects. Winning this test for 3 consecutive weeks breaks the effect.
Every week.
Yeah. So it's like long term.
I got you yet. Alright. So we have a character now.
You have a character.
So just in case anybody's into it, like I am, you can always pause it later, screenshot, all that kind of stuff. So the completed sheet. It's a couple blank pieces or whatever, but we've filled it in dots because it was like a standardized test.
Yes.
So Mitch has average strength, dexterity, and stamina, maybe a little bit below what a vampire would have. He's very charismatic, manipulative, and intelligent with some wits about him. He had a horrible childhood, but has since then been working in a bar and become a teacher, that sort of thing. So he's got some brawl and some survival in there, along with firearms and streetwise. He's got some performance and persuasion, but he's also learned a little bit of etiquette, has some insight. He is skilled in academics, has a small amount of awareness, small understanding of the occult. He's an astronomer to a minor degree and can work with basic computers. His presence grants him awe, lingering kiss. His celerity grants him rapid reflex, and his potence creates lethal body, meaning I can tear you apart. My touchstones and convictions are that I don't allow children to witness violence, and my ex-wife is still bouncing around somewhere that I still have some attachment to. I have some fame, I have some contacts. I can't prey on academics or children. I overcame substance abuse, but now drink through my bar patrons.
Actually, you gain from drinking. You're a high-functioning addict.
I have a lot of allies at my bar, but they're not very consistent. I have a haven where I can sleep that also has a library. My mask grants me a false identity, but I do suffer from a small amount of stalkers. I'm hot-blooded to a severity of 1. All right.
Are you ready?
I think so.
So now we get to pick some dice and do an action, all this stuff. So you wake up for the evening. You come out of your torporous daytime sleeping state. I'm going to go ahead and say that your haven is probably above your bar. Like, it's Boston. It's bar down here. Right upstairs is some apartments. So you live right above your bar. So the first thing that happens right now, we're going to assume that you're at hunger level 0. But the first thing, it's on the bottom left, bottom middle of the sheet. Hunger.
That's 0.
Okay. Yep.
Cool.
And your humanity is at 7. So you're at hunger level 0, but you're waking up for the first time this night, like you had just fed the night before, say. So you need to make a hunger check. And a hunger check is a single D10. You need to get 6 or higher.
6.
Okay. You do not raise your hunger level. So in this game, unlike the original, you do not keep track of blood points. Blood is more abstract. You can do things with your blood, and every time you do, you make a hunger check. If you fail, your hunger goes up by 1, and you start swapping out dice for hunger dice, and those hunger dice can influence your actions and screw you up. So, you have no hunger. You wake up, and you have a message on your phone from Aurora. And it's pretty much like, call me immediately upon waking this evening. And it was sent just before dawn the previous day.
Previous day.
So
it's weird to think of it
she's
as night as day, so the previous day, yeah. All right. So sorry, you said this was the world of darkness. That just meant like the severity of how shitty things are. Didn't
Yes.
mean anything about longer nights or anything
Nope.
like that. Okay. All right.
It is just a terrible, terrible world where all the cops are dirty and, there's all the bad things that you would think that happen in our world that you could come up with are much more prevalent and real.
So it's Boston. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Everybody's Boston. I'll give Miss O'Tierney a call.
She comes on with her thick Irish accent that I'll probably butcher because she is from mainland Ireland. She's like, and your name is Mitch? So she's like, Mitch, thank you for being so prompt in calling me. I have something you need to take care of. It's for your best interest. The Vintru have planted a ghoul amongst your patrons.
Seems like something I ought to take care of.
It absolutely is. We don't want them getting into our business. It's none of theirs. He is a cop by the name of O'Leary, so tread carefully.
Oh, so you don't even need like any information. She just has the guy's name.
Yep.
Do I know O'Leary? If I recognize him?
He is... Nope. You don't know him off the top of your head. I don't know how much you bartend or how much you just bar owner, like and hang around.
I probably help in the evenings, but it's got to be dark outside.
Yeah, of course.
I can't do it.
So, and do you have shifts or are you always hanging out in the bar?
I think I'm always hanging out in the bar.
So, there has been some new people stopping by, so your first guess is it's probably going to be one of them. And, having cops, like, I don't know, it's a Boston bar. I don't know if you're the good sweet on cops or you don't want them hanging around, but either way, this one is in a Vintru's pocket, and he's a ghoul. So, quick little aside about what ghouls are. So you remember Dracula? Dracula had his little flunky, which was named Renfield.
Renfield, yep.
Yeah.
Good
So
call. Yeah.
that's a ghoul, and a ghoul is. So the hierarchy of this is to make a vampire, you drain a person of blood and you feed them yours. Thus, they have none of their humanity left, and now they're part of your bloodline. They only have your blood in them, and that progresses the bloodline. That's
they're
why.
not a vampire.
And that's a vampire. That's how you make a vampire.
But the ghouls.
So a ghoul is a human that you just cut yourself open and feed them your blood.
So you haven't drained them.
So you haven't drained them. They're not a vampire, but they are a human on vitae, and vitae is the word for the vampire's blood. Vitae. So they're juiced up. They're also bloodbound to their master. Vita. Sorry. I-E, yeah, vitae. Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay, better. Right, cool.
They get, and depending on how long, there's some ghouls that it stops their aging, so they can live forever. And the moment they don't have blood anymore, like they have to feed, they just die, they age and die. There's some freelance ghouls, all kinds of stuff, but they start getting traits of the blood, so like they may have disciplines that they can use. But yeah, he's like a cop by the name of O'Leary. That's all I have. Get him out of your bar. Make sure he doesn't come back.
I'll take care of it, Tierney.
See that you do.
Night night.
There she.
Day click.
Day. So yeah, that you're upstairs. You just woke up.
So it's nighttime. I'm assuming because I'm awake now. So I'm gonna head down to the bar. I'm assuming my staff knows me and I know them, and I can ask about
O'Leary.
Have you guys
Absolutely.
seen a cop fitting this description? Did Aurora give me a description good enough to give them, or is it just like, hey,
That's it.
this? Okay.
She gave you the name, and then he's a cop.
All right.
Get rid of him. Rest is up to you.
So I'll ask.
And you didn't ask.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have asked if
I
you
know. I
wanted.
fucked that up. So what I'll do is I'll ask my staff if they've noticed any new cops coming in.
No one's coming in uniform, but one of the girls, one of the servers, was like, "Oh yeah, I think I saw O'Leary on a card. Beard, military cut looking, just kind of douchey to me. If I see him tonight, I'll let you know."
What day did he come in last?
2 days ago, I
Yeah.
think.
Maybe you can give me his. So I'll look through the receipts for those 2 days to see if
Yep.
O'Leary shows up on one of those cards.
Theodore O'Leary.
Alright, he got his card.
He got his card.
I can't use his number to. I'm just kidding. I'm not a thief.
Well, what's your contacts?
Huh?
Because you might be able to, like...
Oh, I don't know.
So what was your...
I don't know. How do we talk about contact one more time?
Did you have contacts, right? And
I
then,
do have a contact, but I didn't write anything because we were moving along.
all right. So you have one contact. It's a person that can give you a little bit of information. Who is it? Like, is it a cop? Is it a guy at the DMV? Is it
a cop?
an engineer? Like, it's probably through the bar.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it'd be. It'd probably be something like more like construction around Boston.
Okay.
So we'll call him contracted.
He's contracted at Boston. All right.
He's a
So you have a...
contractor. Someone that might be able to pull some cement if I need it.
Backgrounds.
I'm really just here for you, Robert.
Contacts. Right here. Allies. No. Fame. Skipping a page.
I don't know. What are you looking for?
Oh, here it is. One contact who can do something cheap or common for you. A weed dealer, a car salesman, whatever. So he's a guy in contract.
Since he's a contractor, he can give me like cheap tools. Bring me a truck or something if I need it. Yeah.
I'm
just trying to work-
borrow a truck.
trying to work on the
Like,
best.
get you a truck. But
Trying to work.
yeah,
on the
get you that. All right. So say hello to your mother for me.
Tell your mom I said hey.
Yeah. Theodore O'Leary. Teddy.
All right. I can tell by his credit card like what time he came in and how he spent and stuff like that. Would these receipts show me what he had to drink? Like, is it specific like that? So I can see that he drinks like a specific liquor.
He
or...
came in, he got the fish and chips, and he always drinks Stella.
Right. Hey, we're not sponsored, but we could be. Stella. The drink of all corrupt ghoul cops.
Yep.
From Boston.
From Boston.
All right. So I'll hang around the bar and look for a bearded guy drinking Stella.
All right. So you mean sundown was about 6 p.m. It's fall, so it's still dark early. About 7:30, 3 guys come in, and your girl's like catches your eye and like, look over, and yeah, he's bearded. The shaved sides, the slicked back, a little bit of graying, probably in his late 30s, early 40s. Pretty stocky. He looks like not a pushover.
Just for my own player knowledge, the bar doesn't know who I am. Like, they don't know that I'm a vampire, do they?
No.
So even though they work for me and they do what I do, like, so my fame and presence and stuff like that with them.
And you have a mask.
Yeah.
That was one of your...
Oh, that's right. So these guys think that I'm Mitch. Like, I'm just regular.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you're not spending to Blush of Health, to Blush of Life, it's a seedy bar. It's dark, I'm assuming. So you're pretty good amongst that. But people will ask, like, hey, you feeling all right? Like, because you look sick. You're
so
not
my
breathing.
employees just kind of know it's what I look.
Yeah, that's what you look like. Like,
Gotcha.
God, he's a what he did with his life or whatever. Or you can Blush of Life yourself if you want. If that's something you want to do.
No, it's okay. Especially in the bar.
Yeah.
All right.
So they walk in. They get a table. He looks around. You even see like he's on his phone, and he's just like he walks in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on my phone. I'm typing away," and he just kind of does a this real quick, and kind of puts his phone down.
What would be the purpose of putting a ghoul in my bar?
So the Ventru, first off, it depends on which. She didn't tell you which Ventru it was or whoever.
You guys
she
can
says
rate my
the
Boston accent, by the
Ventru.
way. Yeah.
But your Bruja, the Ventru are obviously going to try to keep tabs on the Bruja and this Irish person coming into the new city and trying to make a domain and trying to get the underbelly, and she's got connections with the Irish Mafia. So the Ventru is going to be trying to keep tabs on what you guys are doing.
So this is like minor turf war.
Yeah, just turf war.
Okay, cool.
And that the Ventru here, besides politics, besides bureaucracy and being in the government, they also are in the Italian mob. So now that there's an Irish mob over here, the Italian mob's definitely not liking that.
So does the ghoul retains his human knowledge and understanding and shape and form, so he doesn't lose anything. He knows he's a ghoul.
Yep, he knows he's a pansy of a...
Gotcha.
Worcestershire sauce.
It's Worcester.
Which, by the way,
sauce.
the place is called Worcestershire, but the sauce is not pronounced that way. Even by the owners, will say, nope, it's Worcestershire.
Yep.
You have to drop it out.
I'm pretty sure they just say Worcester in Boston too.
Worcester
sauce.
Worcester sauce. Put some brown sauce on it. HP sauce.
Worcester, yeah, I told you. Worcester sauce.
Worcester.
Give me some Worcester. Shit. Let's.
How are you gonna get him out of
I
here?
know, I gotta get him out.
I mean, and think about, like, yeah, you're a brouhaha and it's kind of direct,
Yeah.
but you definitely don't want to throw out a cop for no reason.
No, I got you. I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
But
I'm gonna tell the server. Hey, tell him there's a fight out in the parking lot. You gotta go take care of real quick. Or I could ask him myself. I guess I'm the boss.
you're the boss, but he's not dressed as a cop. He's in plain clothes.
Yeah. All right, go over there and tell him that there's something going on in the parking lot he needs to look at.
That he needs to look at?
Yeah.
Why would he need...
Well, they don't want to call the cops. It's just a drunk guy, but someone needs to talk to him real quick.
Okay. So, you're going at this as if she knows she's a cop.
Did he come? How does she know he was a cop? Oh, she just knows O'Leary.
Yeah, you asked for O'Leary.
Yeah.
You're the one that knows he's a cop.
You know what? Tell him there's somebody outside yelling O'Leary out in the parking lot instead.
Alright. So there is no parking in the front of your bar?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Boston.
Yeah.
So there's only a parking lot in the back, which is more advantageous to you anyway. So, yeah, she's like, alright. She actually goes to the back and gets an order and comes out. And as she passes by, she's like, oh, hey, O'Leary, right? And he's like, yeah? There's some dude out in the parking lot, like, yelling your name or something. And kind of goes on her
Boston
way.
accent, though. I'm a Boston vampire.
Right. So he's like, what? Huh. That's fucking weird. He kind of just stays there.
Brushes it off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm the owner. I'm just going to. Hey, you that O'Leary guy?
Yeah, I'm an O'Leary guy.
You're an O'Leary? Okay, cool. You're the only O'Leary I know in here. And there's somebody out in the back causing a scene. I need you to come take a look at it because I don't like this shit around my bar.
Oh, really? You need me to go out back with you, huh?
Well, we can do it here if you want.
Oh, we do it here.
All right. So.
Because remember, he probably also knows who you are.
Yeah, totally. So.
He's in on the secret.
Can I roll against this sort of thing?
Yeah.
Like, can I fast talk him? Like, I want it to be like, hey, I can take you out back and whoop your ass, or I can just kill you here, like murder you, kind of thing.
Yeah, do it. All right.
So I got 3. Do I roll 3 dice?
There's an intimidation roll, by the way.
Okay,
Is there
I don't
an
have any
intimidation?
intimidation
Right,
yet.
that's fine. But you're just like da 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 da, like try to like stun him with it, like
Yeah.
fast talk. So this is what you do. You're gonna take your manipulation,
Oh,
3 dice.
Cool.
and then you're gonna take your whatever your fast talk is in.
Fast talk's my persuasion.
Yep. And add 1 because you have fast talk, and that's what you're doing. Roll it, and every 6 and higher is a success.
It's a 9, a 3, a 1, an 8, a 9, and a 10. 4 successes. Ooh.
Inspiration for anyone who can tell me what these dice are from. I don't know if I can hold that up further on my small little arms. They are they're specific to a game. They're specifically made for a game. I really like them.
Does this game have an inspiration?
Willpower.
Willpower?
Yeah. So willpower is a health track and it's a way to re-roll things.
Gotcha.
Up to 3 dice, and it has a couple other uses. It'll, like when you go frenzy, you can spend a willpower to take control of your character for 1 turn and do something you want to do, like
Gotcha.
not kill the kid, type of thing. Like, what'd you get? How many successes?
4 successes.
Nope, it is not. Next hint is this is the bag they came in. No, not dragon dice. Funny that you bring that up though, because we just talked about that earlier.
We were just talking about it, yeah.
1,
2.
So, Aeon or Trinity, depending on which one you know of. It was when World of Darkness did their sci-fi series, it was the Psychics. So they had Aberrant, which was the superheroes, and they had Aeon Trinity, which was their psychic people. Okay, so he only got 2 successes. You got how many?
4.
4. So you did 2 points of willpower damage to him. So, like, for him, it's like he takes damage because, like, this is a social conflict. You're trying to, like, intimidate him out of here. So he's gonna come back and like, oh yeah, is that what you're gonna do? You're just gonna kill a cop right in your bar? You think you can get away with that?
It's my bar. Close the doors and kill everybody in here.
So he's coming at you with his intimidation resolve.
Gotcha.
So your defense from this is going to be your composure resolve. Remember, you're not a lot of composure.
Ooh.
So 2. 6s and higher are successes in this game.
Success is 6, 8, 7, 3.
3. So you successfully defend about that, and you come back with your little line like, I'll kill everyone fucking in here, this and that. And he's like,
I can see how this... So I can see something... Now that we're playing for real, I can see how this game can be difficult. Because it's all social interaction.
No, but this is... So in this game, when you're doing interactions, or when you're doing any conflicts, if you're not doing a straight defensive, because you came back at him with that thing, and actually I should have made you roll another... a word, like intimidation against him, but that's fine. It was probably been 3 anyway.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But... conflicts can be 2 people attacking each other and the winner hits. So he got 2 and you got 3, so you did another willpower damage to him.
Oh, okay. So
because you went like, I'm
my defensive posture was enough to get.
Well, it was an attack as well, because like you came back with that, and this is like, especially in social conflicts, like someone quips and you retaliate, and the audience is there, and who's embarrassed, who's feels, ooh, like shit, I got had.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So he takes another willpower damage. Boop, boop, boop. So he's like, all right. It's like, all right, bozo, let's go take care of this outside.
All right. So I guess is he gonna follow me? Am I gonna follow him?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the vampire. He's the ghoul.
After you, O'Leary.
He walks out. Oh. Yeah, he's just gonna cap me from behind. And he's like saying as he's walking up.
I'm not packing.
What are you packing? Like, do you have a weapon with you? Or are you just gonna use your potence?
I'm gonna try to use my potence.
Okay.
I'm a brouhaha. I'm pissy at this point.
You're pissy, but man, you are not scrappy. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I probably have like a. I'll snatch the bat on the way out. We got a bat behind the bar. Like we have one for real at the bar, so. Let that be a lesson to you guys. I got a bat back there.
So he walks out, like kind of heads out in the parking lot, and he pulls out a gun. He just reaches back, pulls out a gun. He's keeping it at his side. He's like, "What the fuck you think you're doing? Trying to call me out on that kind of shit? You know why I'm here."
I'm gonna knock that gun right out of his hands with the bat.
He just whoa! He's like, "Motherfucker!" Yeah. So the rapid reflex does. Do you remember what it does?
I can view incoming attacks.
Oh, so that's
Like,
for dodging. That's
yeah,
fine.
we dodge.
But it's still you're using the celerity. But so potence, you're gonna hit him with the bat. You're gonna try to hit the gun out of his
Does that
hand.
have anything to do with my? Because it's not my. Because I'm not using my hands. It doesn't add to it.
I'm gonna let it add to it because it's potence. Like back in my day, in the original book, potence didn't do any other abilities. It straight up added it to your strength.
Oh, okay.
So it was a really cool thing. But like you have that killing body, you have that strength, and just because you're using a bat, whatever. You're just not gonna do aggravated damage.
Okay.
That's what it
so
does.
I'm not tearing.
Yeah, you're not tearing into them. But I'm gonna let it add. You can also, if you want, surge your blood for this roll. You can try to use blood to amp your strength.
Ooh. So, let's do that. I'd like to see that.
Okay, so you need to make a hunger check.
Which is
A D10, just 6 or higher.
2.
So your hunger goes up by 1. Now, you're spending blood. You're expending the power, right? Now, though, you're using that to amplify a roll, so you are not going to get a hunger die on the roll you used the blood in. It's going to be for every die roll going forward. So when you spend blood, when you make a hunger check and
this
fail,
check I'm not hungry.
you're not hungry because
I'm
you
using
just
on
used it,
purpose. Gotcha.
right?
So
it's
this would
your
be my strength
melee
plus my potence.
plus your potence plus 1 from the blood potency from you surging, and your melee.
Yeah, it's just automatically a 1 or no?
Nope, 0.
Okay.
Because like if you were using your bare hands, it would have been brawl. So you might want to use your bare hands.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's drop the bat.
So it's like grab the gun out of his hand type of thing.
So I had 2 for my blood.
Yeah.
2. Dang.
Then okay. I probably shouldn't give you the potence, but I'm gonna let it.
That's okay.
Let it slide.
Well, I mean, if I'm not using the bat, the potence would be there for lethal body. I'm using my hands.
Yeah. Well, potence doesn't add; it just makes you do aggravated damage.
Oh, so should I take one out?
Nah, go for it.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna run with it. So you do your roll, I'll do mine.
This was a 5 anyway. So.
Okay, so I see a 10 in there.
10.
Is there multiple 10s?
No, it's just 1.
Okay. So in this game, much like in the older game, you used to be able to re-roll 10s to try to get more successes. In this game, 10s just kind of stack on each other. So if you have 1 10, it's a success. If you get 2 10s, it doubles. So it's 4 successes.
Ooh.
Now, you need doubles, though. You need pairs. So getting another 10 wouldn't give you 6. It would just give you 5.
Gotcha. So then I did forget that I had brawl. So I got 3 successes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Yep. So he, as you go for the gun, he's like, motherfucker, and just bashes you across. He pistol whips you with it, and you take 1 damage.
What about my rapid reflex?
He's not shooting you.
Oh, that's right.
And that was if you used it as a defense. So you just take 1 health. So do a single slash.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
So 1 slash is minor damage, and also all minor damage is halved rounded up for vampires.
Gotcha.
Because it's insignificant to you. But if you were to take aggravated damage, it would be an X, and that's real lethal wounds to a vampire that's hurting, and that's what you do all the time to people, like with your potence if you want.
I got you.
Okay, so this motherfucker, and he hits you.
Alright.
My boss is gonna be really fucking mad at you.
Your boss is never going to see you again.
All right. What are you gonna do this turn? He looks like he's hit you and he's trying to back up, and it looks like he's trying to bring his gun back around.
I'm going to close the gap again.
And just keep...
You grapple at him, yeah.
Okay. So he is just going to go for a straight defense this time. He is just trying to get away from you. If he does this, not only does he get away from you, he puts some distance and he'll be able to shoot you next turn.
Gotcha.
But if you succeed, you latch onto his arm and get him.
Brawl and strength.
Correct.
Okay. 2.
2.
Alright.
I love how hot-headed you are. Like, there's 2 other guys you left at the table that you have to explain why this guy's not coming back in. And it's not that you have to kill him. Like, you can just beat him up and say, don't come
I
back.
got 1, so he successfully...
Oh, he got away?
Me,
Okay, so you can spend a willpower to re-roll up to 3 of those dice.
Let's do that. Alright, because I'm...
Yeah, so re-roll 3
really
dice and try to get...
So one more, so it would be 2 successes.
2 to 2?
2 to 2.
So you're the acting player, you succeed.
Sweet.
So you grab onto him. Are you using your potence?
Yeah, I'm just gonna break that arm, get that gun right
it's
out
not
of there.
breaking it,
Oh, no, I'm just
but
aggravated
it's
damage.
like you crush into him.
Yeah. I want him to know that I'm in here.
So it's like, and you hear the snap. He's like, "Oh, you fucking lunatic! Let go of me!" Declaration.
All right, I'm gonna. Now that I've broken his arm, basically, I'm gonna basically.
You have it. You can like say like you drop the gun, slap it down.
I'm gonna turn him around and tell him to drop the gun, and then boot him away.
And you can also like kick off awe and say something.
Ooh, how do I have to roll that sort of thing?
He may or may not know he's being awed. You don't know what his knowledge of vampires is.
Okay.
But if you're like, if you just want to give him a ultimatum, you've got him. Like he can feel your strength, and
let's do that.
You can like kick off all and say, you never come back here again.
Yeah.
You tell your master to stay out of Aurora's business.
That's
type
pretty
of
much
thing.
what I like to do with him. Like, hey, you know who I am. I know who you are. You're gonna get the hell out of here, and you're not gonna come back. That kind of thing.
All right. So presence is awe allows you to add your presence to any rolls you're doing when you kick it off.
Would this be public speaking or fast talk, or would this be intimidation?
This is going to be intimidation,
Okay, so
which you don't have, which is the 2, and you're going to be using your charisma. So 4, 6. Yep.
So 2. Yeah, Jesus. Good old bad rolls again.
How many? You can spend a willpower.
I got 2. Fuck. We're doing a 1-off.
Yep. And remember, so willpower is a health track as well for social. So you're giving yourself damage, by the way. So just
add another one, so 3 altogether. I keep wanting to say altogether. 1, 2.
1, 2. So you successfully do another level of intimidation to him, which actually it hinders him. He is now hindered because his health track is full. So you browbeat him with the intimidation inside and the intimidation out here, and the physical didn't hurt either. Well, it did hurt him. So he's like, "Fuck! All right, I'm gonna fuck you. Yeah, okay, I'll get out of here."
Do his friends know he's a ghoul? Probably not.
No, probably not.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. All right, so once I see him leave, I'll go back in.
He, has to grab his gun with the other hand and kind of like just stuffs into his belt, and he goes just running off.
I'm going to tell the server, hey, by them other cops around and tell them not to bring O'Leary back here anymore.
All right, boss. So she goes out there. They're like, see him pulling out phones and trying to message them. They drink their one more beer and they get the hell out of there. So that was both. That was social conflict and physical conflict. Bam, bam, bam.
It's up to you. In the stream time, but we can play for another half hour. So if you want,
what do you want? I think let's do it. All right, let's do it.
So you said
it's going to take about 10-15 minutes.
You said you're going to add some time so I get some stuff.
Yeah. So let's just go through this real quick.
So the point of what's happening right now is...
Oh, yeah. We're going to level them up, buff them up a little bit, and then I'm going to throw something big at them.
That way
see how I was doing.
That way we've got a really nice base for the lore. We saw a character get made. We've seen an initial encounter at level 1. Now we're going to buff and then see something crazy so you can see what would happen if you had a campaign going on for multiple sessions, that sort of thing.
So give yourself another composure and...
Let's fix this health and willpower.
Yeah, get rid of them. Right. So give yourself another composure, which increases your willpower by 1. Give yourself another strength and stamina, which is going to increase your health by 1. Give yourself an intimidation, a brawl, a melee, and let's give yourself another potence. So let's grab that real quick.
And this would be equivalent to how much leveling?
So that would have been
strength, stamina.
Hold on.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 15, 30. 15, 30, 10. so 40, and the potence is probably 7, 14, 40 something, and then the skills would put you in the 43, 46, 48. This game keeps you slow. You get one experience every game session, and one experience when you end a campaign, a chronicle, right?
Oh, so
a
you
story.
just told me like I spent like 80 points.
I mean, you spend like 40, about 40,
40
like
points.
almost 50 points. So that's like 50, like 30 to 40 sessions, let's say,
Oh, wow.
of increases. That's if you went that way. And I'm just giving you things just to buff you up a little.
Totally.
But let's give you
The other potence at level 2.
Yep. Potence level 2. So at potence level, you can take Soaring Leap. That was the other level 1 ability. Or Prowess. Vampires with potence gain far greater strength from their blood than those who lack it. The cost is 1 rouse check, so you'd actually have to do a rouse check. When activated, add the potence rating of the user to their unarmed damage value, as well as to feats of strength.
Let's take that one because I'm Bruja. I got some strength and some stamina, and I added to my brawl, so it sounds like I've probably been getting into shit the last couple of years.
Yeah. So this, when you hit somebody, besides doing aggravated damage from lethal body, with a rouse check, you would then add 2 to the damage, even if you're unarmed. So whatever you rolled over the person, plus 2, aggravated. Crazy stuff. All right. And I should check presence. That awe is free. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me look up some things real quick.
Come on, this Baskin brawling vampire against its enemies. Why are the 0, 8, and 9 highlighted on these?
So, in Vampire the Reckoning, which those dice are from, 8, 9, 10 was a success. Not 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
So it allowed you to quickly look and see what you got.
So these dice have successes
Painted on them.
Yeah.
But not for this game because it's back to a 50-50 system.
How tough 8, 9, 10 are the only successes.
You had a lot more dice pool in there.
Are you about to murder me?
I am about to murder you.
What is the sucks plus number in this edition?
Success is 6+.
But like he's saying, there's a lot smaller pool. That's what I was asking. So these dice, you probably can't see them on the camera very well, but the 0, the 8, and the 9 are highlighted white. The rest of them are black. So you might be able to see them there. That's what I was curious about. I just happened to look down and go, these are painted funny. So what were these dice from?
Aeon Trinity.
That's
It was
right.
a
Oh, that's right, that's
futuristic psychic. You played a psychic agents for a conspiracy organization.
Gotcha. Murderous plots are being put together at the moment.
Okay. Just really think I'd look at 2 powers real quick.
That's why I thought he would like this, and just murder his characters for once. Murder his players, sorry. Stella Artois, the beer of all murderous DMs. So I feel like I should probably be doing some filler here. This has been a little. This one's different. I like it. I like that the social aspects are combat as well. That talking and intimidating and being a person is part of the game. It's more realistic.
Jesus. All right.
Oh boy.
Huh. All right. Well, let's get this over with, I guess.
Well, you know, with a one-off like this, he had to write something based on my character as we did it, so that's impressive. For those of you that have never DM'd, it can be time-consuming, so to have somebody like Wiley write something real quick for something we made together in an hour and a half, 2 hours, is fairly impressive. So
Okay. My main thing is, like, I just read the rules for this tonight, and they did powers completely different, and so now I'm looking up at a big bad creature, and it has a bunch of powers, and I don't know all the powers, like, by heart, so I just had to look a couple things up. So, in this, you were tasked to go... There's been some problems with the Mafia, the Irish Mafia, moving stuff outside of the city. They were moving a van of some illicit merchandise, and it disappeared on the highway. I don't know what happened. So now they're sending, Aurora is sending you with the next group. So, like, hey, find out who's taking our goddamn shipments, right? So you're driving down the highway, heading towards New York, New York State. Driving along, it's a van, unmarked, when this old beat-up truck just kind of like drives up next to you and runs you guys off the road into the woods. The car hits and flips. The people that are in it are pretty much, the crew with you is gone. They get flung out, killed, but you just take superficial damage. We'll put you at 1 hunger. You're taking no damage, but we're putting you 1 hunger as you heal your damage as you get out of the car.
Gotcha.
And so, like, you're crawling out, you're like, what the fuck is this
my humanity less now in the future?
No,
it remains
don't worry about it. We didn't even get into that, and that's like
okay.
Stains and things like that. It's pretty cool. You actually... on that one, you do fill it up with black marks to 7, and you leave the others blank. And it's a cool little... So humanity, when you do something that causes you to question humanity, you start taking stains, and stains start marking your unmarked boxes. And if it meets your humanity, then you get a break. Like, you have a humanity break. You have to make a roll, and at the end of every night...
So that means I'm real human.
Like you're really good.
Yeah,
like,
gotcha.
you're still super, like, attached because you're newly dead.
Yeah.
And you lose it. So you crawl out of the truck, and you're like, what the fuck? You were the van, and it's just wasted. And the truck is pulled off ahead, and, like, there's forest right here. It's a dark 2-lane highway on the East Coast. You don't take the main highways because you're running a list of shit. So this is backcountry kind of shit, rural Massachusetts, right there, and like the headlights of your truck or van are kind of still on and facing forward, and you see the red lights, the tail lights of the truck that ran you off the road ahead of you, and there's a guy coming out from behind, from out of it, and he goes, "Oh, finally, they said the real challenge," and he grows 3 feet and becomes a hulking half wolf, half man creature.
That's a werewolf.
Yes.
All right.
So he's going to kick off several of his powers right now.
Okay.
His celerity abilities. So he's moving up to you, and you're not going to get to defend.
Okay.
So he just takes a swipe at you with his claws. He's got a strength of 5 in his form. And he's got a brawl of 4 plus a potence of 5. So I'm going to need 5 more dice.
That's cool. So this is Shadow Run
Yep.
here.
Your defense to this attack, because of his celerity at highest level, is a 1.
Shiloh says howdy.
Hi, I'm about to kill Mitch in 1 shot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, how many 10s are there?
1.
Ah, son of a bitch. So 8, 9, 10, 11 for his claws. So you take 11 damage. So this is how it goes. Start counting them off. 1 slash.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right?
Yep, so now you took aggravated. So, yep, 1 shot goes to aggravated, and you're down.
I have 1 last swipe left, so that was...
You have one normal. So you were impaired, -2 to everything.
Ugh. I just got gutted.
Yep. So yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, shit, I can't... Well, that
Cry,
was right. Yeah,
piss
right.
yourself.
I'm gonna try to tell him that. Well, wait. Maybe some public speak. Aw. Or I guess it wouldn't be public speaking. It would be.
Yeah, fast talking. Oh wait, I have information for you.
Wait,
Something.
Yeah.
Okay, roll. Fast talk and charisma.
And.
Aw.
Charisma. Oh shit! So actually, this is a good one for me. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Oh come on. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Oh, -2.
1.
So not successes though. -2 dice pool.
Oh, okay.
Because you're wounded.
We'll just. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll just have to fudge
Yeah.
that. Unless you want me to re-roll it. I
Yeah,
can
re-roll it.
All right, cool. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3.
3.
So
You got 1.
Yeah, so.
So he does, like, he's over you, blood through all his things. You could just see he's barely comprehending you in this form, but he paused for just a moment.
Can I use my hunger to heal myself?
Yep. So roll. You don't mark it yet.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
roll your rouse check. Your rousing. Your
That was the
hunger
thing that
check.
didn't run here, so my rouse re-roll.
You don't have any. You blood potency 1. You need
okay.
higher to get that. So 1. Oh, and we didn't add your hunger dice in either. It doesn't matter. Go for it.
Yeah.
Fail.
Fail.
So another hunger, and you heal 1 level of non-aggravated damage. So you are
That should be enough.
you are no longer impaired because
Yeah.
your track
It
isn't
didn't-
full.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'm just trying to survive for a second.
Yep. And
That was my turn.
that was your
that was my turn.
so. I really don't think you can survive this. So
So Mitch finds his death on the Boston Highway on the way to New York.
yeah,
Right on.
Massachusetts to New York. Yeah, that's that. Like, look at some of these. Listen to some of these abilities. So this is level 5 celerity. It takes a 1 rouse check to do. Used before making a brawl or melee attack. The opponent makes no roll to dodge or defend. Make the attack at difficulty 1.
That's what's crazy. There's no resolve.
Right.
I can't just dodge it or move away from it.
And the Potence one was ridiculous as well. Because he has 5 celerity, 5 Potence. He has Earth Shock. He can hit the ground and do damage that way. But I think the crazy one is... there's Brutal Feed, where he just bites you and like savages you, so like all your blood is gone essentially.
Why did he get out and say, "Oh, a real challenge"?
Right? They thought they sent a real like
an actual vampire,
an elder vampire after him. So at level 2, you get Prowess for Potence, which is when activated, add Potence rating of the user to their unarmed damage value as well as their feature strength. So he had... Oh, I messed that up. I only had a 3. Should have added plus 5 to the damage.
Oh my god.
Yep. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't even look up the animalisms and a couple of the other abilities he has. But so here's the werewolf in here. The werewolf has strength 3, dex 3, stam 4, charisma 3, manipulation 3, composure 2, intelligence 3, wits 4, resolve 4. Secondary attributes 7 health and 6 willpower. He has skills, whatever, but his disciplines are animalism 5, auspex 2, celerity 4, fortitude 5. So trying to damage him, like he takes 5 like right off all damage coming into him.
Oh wow.
All that jazz.
Yeah.
Obfuscate 1 and potence 5.
Jeez.
So, and you didn't have any silver, which is really the only thing that can get through any of his defenses. So yeah, that's a werewolf, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. That's exactly how that should have gone down.
It's made from the same people.
Yep.
Cool.
And they didn't put in like they're using werewolf. They're using it with disciplines, which are vampire things, so they're just doing equivalencies.
Mm-hmm.
When the real Werewolf the Apocalypse comes out, they're going to have their own powers and lists of their own abilities. So, yeah. Werewolves are like... This vampire is for the emo kids to do politics and drama. Vampire is for the kick-in-the-door kids to murder things. Absolutely murder things.
All right on.
So that's it, guys. That's Wiley vs. Mitch, first episode in the can. Vampire the Masquerade. We thank you for hanging out. We thank you for coming along on this journey and learning all about the new vampire, which is, I think, really cool.
Yeah. Thanks to Tabletop Keyboard for coming down and hosting us again. That's always nice. GG Ren, Meowza, thanks for showing up. 2 gin bottles. It's always nice to see an appearance. Geostellar, always a pleasure. Really like having you here. I don't know when we're going to do this specifically again. Maybe next Tuesday or something. We'll figure something out. But
it will be a different game.
It'll be a different game, yeah. So it'll be complete new lore. It'll be new character sheet. It'll be new combat system. So the wizard library is full. So we got a lot to work on.
If you guys have suggestions, question or Mutant Chronicles would be good. I do have the new one, but I'd have to read it from scratch, which I can do. Mutant Chronicles is fun because it's Kmart Warhammer 40k.
Oh yeah.
Like someone like another company wanted to get the miniatures and do all that stuff in England, and you can't compete with Games Workshop in England, so they made Mutant Chronicles.
Interesting.
And I really like it. I love the.
We also have the new Expanse game, and I've always wanted to try Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. So there's all kinds of stuff that we can knock around with this and do some character creation and stuff. But yeah, thanks for coming down.
Thanks everybody.
Come in tomorrow, Wednesday, 9:30 Arizona Mountain Time. We'll be doing our regular Dragonborn campaign on the Wileyverse.